Blow bubbles. Somebody, anyone have a link to this stream? Just post it. I guess I could, but post the stream real quick.
Post it on Reddit. What did everyone think of that podcast last night?
Although I bed before it ended.
You didn't really miss
really
much.
Did you catch when Too Good popped in?
Yeah, he was there for most of that, I think.
I mean, I thought that was kind of a dick move. Like, granted, I guess people like were interested in what he has to say or whatever, but it's like, just like interrupt a podcast in progress and be like, "Oh, put me on the mic right now," and like the actual guests don't get to speak at all. Like, I don't know.
Yeah,
I like.
guess
where was that one comment? I think it was, did Shitnip or Cody post it? The thing Phrase said, "Fuck me dead, I'm bored. 7 years dead on release, still talking."
There was one part where Zorak was silent for like a good 30 minutes,
At
and Julbars
least.
just kept being like, "Good point, Zorak. Well said."
That was
pretty funny.
Let someone else talk,
That
Zorak.
was a good meme.
Yeah, was there anything before, like, we ended up watching? Did they have words at all? Like, did Zorak say anything to Too Good?
I didn't catch it. And,
Zarek's too much of a pussy. I'll give like fucking Phrase
Did Too
credit.
Good
He started
watch his
shit
video?
talking.
That would be my first question, I guess.
You mean the drunk stream?
No, Zorak made a video about DB, right? Or something.
oh, that silly meme video? Probably
Yeah.
not.
Yeah, that was kind of bad, actually. Too Good probably would.
What's up, Cody?
Dude, Cody 2 made it.
Yeah, you make it through the slow bubble to get here.
Hey, dude, how's it
Can't
going?
hear you, moron.
Yeah, fucking idiot, dude.
What a fucking idiot! Go watch a Twitch ad, Cody.
He's talking through a slow, like, it's
Yeah,
slow ball right now.
yeah,
We'll hear his words eventually.
the audio will get here soon.
Where's Betty?
He's not even at his like house. He said he's like in Michigan visiting family or something.
Betty doesn't have a computer.
He's
So
trying to get as far away from his computer as possible.
Yeah, he said he might tune in later.
Eddie is probably on Monkey Till because I've been beating his ass in chess.
Damn, dude.
Dude, remember when he disassembled his PC?
Yeah,
and
dude,
now he's
I
trying to play chess on his phone and just getting smoked.
I remember.
Wow.
How's the ice cream, Ballin?
Bad year territory.
I
Are
haven't
you
started
eating?
yet. I'm eating my Hawaiian barbecue chicken right now.
Okay. Well,
Cody, what exactly are you doing? Your mic keeps going off.
Yeah, what's going on there?
What a fucking idiot!
All right, enough of that. Let's get going here. You know, we've gathered here today to mourn and dissect Diabotical.
Is this any better?
There we go. Yeah, I
Okay.
can hear you
It's
now.
actually working now. It's way better.
Nice.
Should we?
Yeah, I let my
Should we
where do
what?
start?
use my I let my ex use
Dude,
my
let's-
headphones, and I think
let's
she
just,
fucked things
You
up.
know, we'll get a chance to kind of say our piece at the end. I think. Let's just start. Where'd it go wrong? I feel like it's pretty easy to point fingers at Too Good, but you know, maybe it's a little more complicated than that. Anyone like to go first?
You know, Diabotical started out in like, I don't know, probably like 2010 or some shit. As a, it seemed like such a great idea, like an arena FPS designed by really good players, since Quake Live was kind of winding down. Make it for esports by the esports pros. And then we all got dragged along for like 5 years or so. Then there was a Kickstarter. Then we got dragged along for like another 5 years. And yeah, I guess, what did you guys all think when we got into the like alpha and the early betas and stuff?
Oh yeah, that's a
What
good
did you guys
place to
think back
start.
then? Yeah, let's start. when we first got our hands on the game, you know.
Yeah, I mean, at that time, it definitely
Actually,
wasn't perfect. Like, shut the fuck up, shit, Nip! Don't interrupt me.
Yeah,
I'll
quit
interrupt.
fooling around.
Quit
Quit
fooling around,
fooling
shut up.
around. You'll get your chance to talk.
Yeah,
Get my chance.
yeah, in those days, like, it wasn't a perfect game, but I don't think anybody was expecting a perfect game then. So I personally was pretty optimistic. I was like, this is a solid foundation. Like, it can only get better from here. That's kind of the tragedy. So I really was hopeful in the beginning.
I think a lot of us were in that same boat. Because compared to like the QC had major technical issues compared to DB that I don't think could ever be fixed because it was like running on some shitty proprietary Russian engine. But I think QC or Diabotical in comparison had like a really good foundation.
Yeah, I mean, QC was doomed for failure like before it even launched. Like, Diabotical, I would say, had actual potential.
Oh yeah, for sure. What about the rest of you guys? What everybody think about the like the early alpha that we were in back in the summer of 2019? I think that was.
Did everyone get in who's here? Cody wasn't in.
Cody
No.
wasn't, but those of
Sounds
us
like a
who
blessing.
yeah those of us who were in
I wasn't.
though.
It was pretty
Shut up,
fun.
Cody
It
too.
was pretty
Those
fun
of us
back
who
then.
were in, what did you think?
I mean, you couldn't play a team mode because like so few people were in, so you only could play duel. But duel was pretty fun. I mean, it was super fast back then.
We got like one TDM going. I know Zorak and Ray were just complaining the whole time.
Oh yeah, on Chateau.
Yeah,
That
we
was
played
mainly
3v3 on Chateau like 100 times.
Yeah, we played a bit of 3v3 TDM on that Chateau map. That was fun.
No, but I thought the old duel maps were pretty fun. You had Dunia. There was a really old Dunia that before they added that desert area that had just like lava.
Oh
and
yeah, I
shit
remember
like,
that.
Yeah.
That was a super fast map. Like every game would be like 25 to 20. But
Oh, yeah.
back then you could dodge in combat, which I know had a lot of mixed feelings. But I thought it was fun. I mean, all the netcode was client side, so like the netcode wasn't too great, but it was fun. Remember the map Facility that turned into Fisk's house? It was a lot fucking better as Facility. I'll tell you that. Fisk got fucking scammed, man.
Dude, you know who got scammed harder though? The people who didn't get anything. Like, there are people who paid money, and as far as I know, they didn't get to name any maps. Just old boy Fisk got to name his.
Before there
Didn't
was
Necro give a bunch of money?
Did who?
Oh, Necro got
Necro.
cucked.
Oh,
he gave
yeah.
a bunch of
Well,
money,
hold on,
and then he got kicked to the curb.
We'll get to that. We'll get to
back
that.
to that.
Um,
I'll say my
were
part
you in the
that
beta or the alpha?
I was in the beta.
No, the alpha.
Garrison,
The alpha.
Garrison was cool before it was Casbah, but Casbah's still decent, but Garrison was cool. The old bio plant was probably equal or better to the new one.
Yeah, maybe we should remember the good times before we go into the real dark stuff. But I have a pretty funny story regarding Garrison before it was Casbah.
Mm-hmm.
So when they turned it into Casbah and released it like in the beta, I already knew the map from when it was Garrison. And I had been like dueling Hot Rod a bunch and going 50-50. And I was like, hey, let's try this new map, Casbah. And I just kept beating him like over and over and over again. And he couldn't figure out why I was winning on that map specifically. It was a good scam.
That is a good scam. Well played.
So just to clarify though, the alpha was that when Ballin invited everyone in? Or
No,
was
there,
that the
we got
beta?
so to clarify, we got invited in. Well, okay, I got invited earlier than that, but like Ray, Ballin, Jewel Bars, Betty.
All right, I can get the exact day.
Ye-
Hold on.
Yeah, you can find it, but like early on, like I think early in
Alright.
the summer of 2019.
I got in on July 2nd of 2019.
Okay, so yeah, July 2nd. Then everybody got in. Well, not everybody, but that group of people, Vibration as well.
No, I actually got in on July
yeah.
3rd.
Okay, yeah, you got it the
Yeah,
next day because
I stuck my neck out and got vibration in.
yeah.
Let's see,
But
what prof. When did
that
prof
was
get in?
like that was because I think Necro
Got it,
invited
like,
them
the
all,
late-
and
The last stage of alpha.
Yeah, prof didn't get in until
oh,
January of 2020.
okay, never mind. I thought Prof was in with us.
No, I didn't get in. I think I could have, but I
Did
just
Butcher get in?
didn't care. I don't know.
Oh yeah, Butcher. I literally got like 18 people in, no joke.
Yeah, Ballin got a lot of people into the
Yeah, but I got
alpha.
everybody
He
in
didn't quite have a
January.
clear.
January of 2020 is when I got a fuck ton of people in, though. It took a while.
So during the Twitch updates, I noticed that Too Good didn't have a clear idea yet of like what his game wanted to be for gameplay and like for what the hell he's playing a lot with movement.
Oh, hold on,
playing
we're
a lot
not
with different
Jesus
things.
Christ. We're not there yet. Hold on, we're still just like
Okay.
talking about
We're
early
still
impressions.
that one.
You guys remember the really old Frontier before it was like even arted all that much and it was just
Oh.
wide fucking open and you only ever used rail?
Oh yeah, dude. I remember
Yeah,
that.
that's
It
the
had-
irony of people complaining about it being all rail now. It's like you have no idea.
It used to have like a Egyptian theme or whatever. I thought it was okay back then. I mean, really rail heavy, but
Yeah, those old maps. I mean, they were all right. I mean, the client side netcode, dude. Remember when you used to like spawn with machine gun only when you were losing, and you
oh
normally
god.
spawned with plasma? I remember that shit.
Yo, dude, I remember that because I was there when they changed over from plasma to machine gun. Like everybody ganged up on, or like mainly like Wins and Noctis, I think, ganged up on like Too Good. And they were just like, yeah, you just need to put the machine gun back in. And Too Good really wanted the plasma, but they couldn't make it work. The plasma was either like way too strong a starting weapon or way too weak. It was like really
It's way too
good.
strong.
Well, it was way too strong, but in certain situations though.
Long
right?
range is not.
Yeah,
Obviously.
yeah, exactly. It's like if you cornered somebody with it, it was like super powerful, and you just like devastated them. But if it was like if they're far away, it was like you were fucked. You couldn't do anything.
The fire rate was faster as well. They slowed it down at some point.
Remember when I wanted a Quake World shotgun and I was trying to tell James to, add a Quake World shotgun into the game?
Yeah, definitely an embarrassing moment for you.
Yeah, for
It
sure.
was. I regret that decision, but I will.
Dude,
I will try to move on from that.
Necro
and
was so stoked on the game back then.
Oh yeah, let's talk about the downfall of Necro for a second. Do we want to go over that? Like
Yeah, Necro now is like playing Fortnite with Carnage. That's like
Fortnite with. I thought he was playing Valorant. And he just keeps tumbling down.
But yeah,
Oh,
Necro was like he was real big on it back then.
Like, I'm pretty sure, I don't know where exactly I heard this, but I'm, like, fairly certain that at some point somebody mentioned to me that Necro made, like, a fairly substantial, like, financial contribution to the game, and I'm not talking about, like, tens of thousands, but, like, a couple thousand, maybe? Is what I had heard. That's why he was, like, in all the alpha shit, and, like, talking to Too Good. But yeah, I don't know.
Dude.
That dude just got, like, pushed to the curb.
Dude, a lot of people seems like they got kicked to the curb. Like there was Necro, there was Taunty, there was fucking Wins. It felt like got kicked to the curb at some point. Like
Although
you
apparently he's,
never
like,
hear
coming
Wins
back.
saying shit.
got scammed pretty hard then.
Oh no, yeah, Necro got scammed very hard. I don't know why he got kicked to the curb. Like I'm genuinely, I know like Fat Palm at one point was making fun of him in that one dev Discord. He was like asking basically a pretty reasonable question. He was like, "Who's testing Duel at this point?"
I think it was netcode and dual related. Like anger.
Yeah, I wish I would have scraped all these images and stuff. But yeah, he was basically just like, who's testing Duel? And then Fat Palm was like laughing at him, and it's like, that's a pretty reasonable question. Like, who is testing Duel?
Turns out no one.
Yeah, exactly. Turns out nobody. Like, they didn't care. So
Yeah.
I guess he was right to be concerned.
You remember what was the TDM map that James made that we were playing on?
Oh, I know the Egyptian one with the giant drill.
Yeah.
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 Yeah, I don't know. Like that map wasn't great, but I didn't think it was horrible. But I just remember one time we were playing TDM, and like Necro was raging so hard, he just like rage quit the game, and I'm like, dude, we're like playing an alpha build. Like, what are you so mad about?
Oh yeah, dude. That was like the beginning of Necro's downfall. Like I remember him getting really mad over that shit, and that's like when he started shit talking the game, pretty hard.
I mean, yeah, I could remember some Egyptian-looking maps that were in the streams that never made it to the game. So I don't know what happened to those. But
It was just that one, the James's one. I mean, there are like more. Like you have the original version of or like you have Dunia, which got cut. You have like
weren't
the
they
original.
making like a Quake World DM6 dual map or something like that? Like inspired by that map?
I don't think so. Not that
That
I
was a
know.
long time ago. Right?
Unless it was a like very very long time ago.
It was a very long time ago.
Yeah, I don't know. Oh, there was that one Egyptian CTF map maybe you're thinking of. That was like cut. I remember running around that. DBT map pool worse than my tournament map pool now. Yeah. Sign
That's from
Dutra. Damn.
Yeah. Dutra for esports manager.
Dutra, do you have any words to say about DB? You have any thoughts on this game?
So I know this is like the easy answer, but honestly, I think the whole thing is just the devs' fault. Like the whole dev team running everything, like the bad studio is just like awful.
The bad
They
studio.
ruined
The
this
bad
game.
studio. That's a pretty good one.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I think it's easy to really like point the finger at James. It seemed like he never I linked that update video in Discord where like he had like a little bit more air control and like a double jump. It seems like he really never nailed down what he wanted the gameplay to be. I know he like touched on that in the stream last night. But it really is just like what's up?
Dude. Okay, sorry. Go ahead. I got something after. Go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say like he like I don't know. I just don't think that like he had a clear goal in mind. Or maybe he did at like one point and then just I don't know.
It was just all over the place.
Yeah, exactly. Go ahead, Ballin. What were you gonna say?
All right. So I am looking at my old posts in the Alpha Discord. And my very first post, right after everyone welcome Ballin for life, my very first post is, quote, "So crouching is basically just walking then if your hitbox doesn't move?" Remember how crouching didn't move your hitbox? Like, it doesn't lower your hitbox at all.
Yeah.
Yeah, I never did.
Something that is still not fixed in January of 2021. Crouching still does not move your fucking hitbox.
Damn, dude.
That was July of 2019. That's my very first post in here.
Remember
Don't
when
have
you
the technology yet.
Mullen, remember when you wanted everyone to have free time so they didn't have the time anymore?
That was a good idea, dude. And also,
That was
that
a
is not
terrible
the
idea.
That is honestly a good
Objection.
idea. You see,
You're misrepresenting the idea.
yeah. That is a good idea, though. Like,
What your
all
idea
it
was
is
just
is
to
you
have
have the
it-
math. The math is for free, not the
Yeah.
times. And it's only for items you
It's
take. It
never
doesn't
math.
fucking
What
do
do
shit
you
for-
mean? It's never
Um,
math.
You have
You don't do
you have
math.
a very similar thing with the green aura. Like we've all seen RD play. Quake
the green
live,
aura is
and how
the green
much
aura.
like he relies on the green aura.
Oh, are you
The
talking
green aura
about
is a
already
lot
already?
worse. 'Cause
Yeah, RD and QL. He doesn't time anything, so the green aura is
Yeah,
like
he's
a huge
a
crutch.
dumbass.
Green
Let's-
aura
we
is
don't
way
need to talk
worse
about
because
Artie.
the green aura shows up whether you took the last item or not.
No, I know.
Already.
I'm
He's
just saying
Ray is
like
only
it's
if you took the
similar.
item.
It's similar to showing the time if you pick it up.
I mean, I don't think Ray can understand an idea as complicated as mine, I guess, so...
Don't get Artie. Artie wasn't even born when this game was like in alpha or whatever. Like, don't.
You
No,
mean I
but
can't comprehend? You
RD's
want to
been
give
around.
you want to give everyone free time? Come on, dude.
You clearly can't comprehend because you can't even understand the idea. You clearly can't comprehend it.
Now you're a dumb dumb,
Okay,
right?
day one.
Oh man.
Hold on, let me look through some more
I
old
feel
posts.
yeah, there's a lot of good posts in there that you should definitely save. Um,
The
how long it took
stuttering
to
weapons.
stuttering
I think that's
weapons?
still a thing.
What
At
stuttering
least in
weapons?
spectator mode, the guns would start like twerking, like shaking.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, I mean that was
It's like,
annoying, but like I don't think that should have been like a major priority. I don't.
yeah,
Yeah.
that's not like that's not what killed the game though. That's not what that's not why we're having a funeral service for Diabotical.
What about the floating egg bots?
I think the the floating. Let's talk about egg bots in general. Like, do you
Dude,
remember?
I-
Do you remember
I
when the
watched the
game
video.
was still called Reborn, and like he was gonna use like normal egg bots?
No, it wasn't.
Or
He
I'm
was
not egg
gonna
bot,
use-
like normal robots. Sorry. It
Yeah,
kinda,
it was like normal robots, basically. Looked more humanoid or whatever.
I
yeah.
watched the video you posted, Scorch. I didn't know they had like the trash bots back in 2016.
Trash
Oh, the
bot.
patch bots have been there forever.
Yeah, trash bots
I
have been
didn't know
there for a
that.
long
Just
time,
from like
dude.
watching the dev streams and stuff, I thought he was like, people have been complaining about the hitbox, so like now we have this.
No, that's not a new
kicking
thing,
around
dude. It's
forever.
been there for a long time. I think that was the original like concept. Is like if you wanted to like, so like the egg bots had like a weird hitbox, but if you just wanted like the classic cylinder hitbox, you could just like do some kind of server command to force trash bots. So like
Yeah,
you wouldn't have to fuck
mean,
with like the weird
the
egg
issue
bots
is
hitboxes.
definitely the floating feet, and also like when you change direction, how far it leans.
Yeah, well, I think egg bots like aren't a super good idea in general. I would have really preferred he just go with like a more humanoid shape, like a keel
Yeah.
or something, or like the
mean-
reflex robot. Just
yeah,
do
so
that
I was gonna
again.
say that the
I
reflex.
think that
Yeah.
the egg bots would have been fine as long as their like feet kind of touched the ground and you could see like they weren't floating.
Well, I think
Yeah,
well,
I
that's
don't
the-
have a problem with the way the egg bots look. The problem is that they're a really bad representation of the hitbox. Like,
well, that's the thing though. Is like
Could
those
that
things
mean
are
that could
those
play
things
it?
are like tied together. You can't just say like, oh, they look fine. It's like, yeah, visually, like artistically speaking, yeah, they look fine, but it's like that ties in to where the hitbox is, right? Like, I mean, that's the whole reason they have to float is like they're too small to like fill the hitbox.
Yeah, and if you see like the lean in the hitbox, like where the hitbox actually is, it's like very inaccurate, which I think makes it even worse. Also, because the hitboxes are smaller than in QL.
You guys remember when we were having a big debate with Necro and everybody about how rockets were stronger in Quake Live than in Diabotical back in like September of 2019?
Dude, I don't remember that.
We were
I don't
It
know.
was.
Yeah.
We were on client side
Was it because
netcode
it was
back then.
client side? Yeah, when it was
But-
client side, LG was very strong.
Well, also like you could just dodge at any time. Like everybody moved really fucking fast back then. So like, you know, and I think even the rocket like hitboxes and stuff were just smaller.
I remember the dev stream of Too Good being like, "Trust me, like rockets aren't weak. Just like wait till we switch over to having netcode."
Yeah, I wonder. Like, I feel like he never tested his game. Like, it never seemed like he knew what the fuck was like going
Well, I don't
on.
remember the entire timeline, but rockets were definitely weak at one point, and then they became like
Yeah,
unquestionably the best gun in the game.
they were weak when it was client side. Then for like the first like month or two of the netcode, they were really strong.
Cody,
And now they're still
Cody too
strong.
won't remember this, but you guys remember when like plasma was the best gun in the game, or when
Oh,
like the
shit,
shotgun was the best gun in the game? Oh, hey Zorak, how's
I
it
remember
going?
when the shotgun was the best
Shotgun
gun.
was pretty good for like, the early, like when we first got in.
Yeah, that's
the
what I'm
alpha.
saying. Like
The
that.
drill
That's
bars would complain about it. Like
him
so much.
and Necro constantly every day would complain about the shotgun, and I think they eventually nerfed it into the ground.
Yeah, that gun was always useless. They never fixed it. It was just terrible.
But they added the alt fire ray.
and now it bounces twice. off
Yeah,
the
now
wall,
it bounces twice, Ray.
which is
Why not
just,
make it 3
just what
times?
the
By the
game
way,
needed.
have you guys all know, right, that the effect of the shock rifle exploding, the combo, is literally taken directly from the old BFG gun? You guys all noticed that, right?
Oh yeah, of course. Dude.
What do you
I
mean?
mean, dude, the new fucking like shock rifle gun is literally just the old plasma gun. Like that stream I linked earlier, like the update number 1. Or I think it's update number 1 or number 3. He shows this model off, and he's like, "This is like a plasma gun. And it's like shooting rockets." It's a really shit-looking model. Like it's not animated or anything. How you doing, Zorak?
You know what was good in Diabotical was the like the HUD system. The HUD system was pretty good.
Yeah, that was good.
The
Yeah,
crosshair
not
and stuff.
everything was
The
terrible.
built-in sensitivity converters and all that. But you know who did all that? It was fucking Taunty.
I don't think Tonti did the HUD system.
No, he didn't do the HUD system.
He
But
did
he
the,
did the built-in sensitivity
you know what
converters.
though? I will say I never trusted that sensitivity converter.
And you know what I will say about it is when I tried to get a conversion for Excel, Taunty just posted that meme of how like Quake Live's acceleration values don't line up with a perfect like chart that he made or some shit.
Oh, I want
Yeah.
to find that
Error
chart.
face
It was
on the
really,
graph.
really funny.
Dude, all the
It
Tonti
was-
stuff was all the Tonti stuff was golden. Like that dude
will
was.
say- I will say, in James's defense, like Taunty was a complete like Spurg Lord. He can't have been easy to deal with.
Oh yeah, 100%.
I had no idea he was involved with like Diabotical at all. I thought he was just someone that posted in the.
How would
No,
you even know
dude,
who Taunty
he
is,
was
dude?
he was like
No, I've just heard you guys
if-
talk about him.
If
I
you
don't
were
know
not
who he
in that
is.
Discord watching Taunty pop off about like all kinds of random shit, then
I assumed
just
he was from like the Miles Containment channel.
no, dude. I wish he was
Oh,
in
I
the Miles
wish.
Containment
I
trying to get
channel.
wish.
Trying to
the
get him
meeting of the
back.
minds.
Yeah, dude, we're trying to get
Didn't they,
Tonti
like,
back.
Mute him at some point or something?
Yeah. So that's the thing is like, so Tonti was in there since like I got in there in early 2019, and then once more people started joining, I remember like they restructured the Discord and like rearranged the channels, and at some point like James got fed up with him and like called him basically a retard. It was like, "You're an idiot. You like can't design anything. Like you have no idea what you're doing." And he like contained him to his own channel. Like he literally could not speak outside of his one channel.
Is that where you got like the idea for the Miles Containment channel, or did that already exist?
I don't know if the idea came from that specifically. It might have been influenced by it, I'm sure, but you could actually you could probably find that, Ballin, if
The
you're still in the
Tonti
Discord.
The Taunty Containment channel, though, it wasn't called Taunty Containment. It had some other name.
Yeah, it was like
Serious
yeah,
Talk or
serious.
something.
Yeah, exactly. It wasn't Tonti Containment, but it was his
But-
containment channel
Yeah,
for all intended purposes.
Zorak, what do you think went wrong with Diabotical?
Yeah, I want to hear some of Zorak's thoughts.
Tell us your impressions the first time you played, kind of like maybe
Yeah,
not the first time, but like
let's go
kind
back.
of the general like
So
beginning.
we already kind of went over this. We already went over this, but yeah, like what was your like when you got into like that alpha? What were your thoughts on that?
Yeah, Zorak wouldn't shut up on the podcast, so glad we get to hear him now.
Yeah, that was fucked. Really annoyed that happened, but let's see here. When I joined the alpha, I think like my FPS was just fucking terrible. None of the settings were correct for like FPS. The game would just crash like mid-match all the time. Also, like you could just dash towards everyone all the fucking time with no like stopping them, and there's no knockback on anything. Yeah, it was pretty fucking terrible in alpha. Played
There's
like 2
still no
matches and
knockback.
stopped. Yeah, even the knockback's still broken. Yeah, even when the game launched, tried to fucking stream it and I just crashed the desktop. So that was pretty terrible. Shitty FPS. Yeah, I mean, eventually it got playable at least for duel, but then like they focused on all the wrong shit. Focused on a bunch of shitty team modes. I don't know. There's no saving it. Like this game would never be popular, and so Either they do something entirely different, or like they.
Well, I don't think anyone expected the game to be popular, but I think it like the idea, or at least like what most people hoped for, was that it would be a good like QL replacement, and everybody would kind of bring everybody together and bring some people back, and we'd all be playing
No, dude,
this.
I have it on good authority from everyone on Reddit that the game failed because it's QL 2.0. That's
Well,
what everyone on Reddit says, you know.
okay, so
I heard the same
oh
If
my
only
god,
they had
if
just,
we're
I mean, it's, you know, I mean, they have some really great feedback. Like, just make a good game. Just make a good game, you know.
like, if we're really gonna already get into this, then yeah, it's like that. I think that's like one of the big issues is like it isn't QL 2.0. Like if it was QL 2.0, like it would actually like we'd all be playing it. Like we wouldn't be holding a funeral service for the game. We'd probably just be playing like pickups still.
The thing is, if they do QL 2.0, no changes whatsoever. Like the only thing they're adding was like the easy ability to make maps, which would have been
But
fine.
that's
That would have
fine.
kept us playing. But like that's also just not a new game. And
Yeah,
like,
that's
I mean, they definitely had
if
like
you're
cool HUD settings. And,
yeah, like there's other things besides the map editor, like a lot of quality of life things, like just
Also,
streamlining
there's, like,
the
modern
whole
Modern
yeah
features
like
like a
the
queue
battle
system.
pass.
yeah
Yeah,
exactly
the battle
cosmetics.
pass, cosmetics.
Like I
I
think
mean,
That's all I wanted.
that's what I expected out of the game. I thought it was going to be a QL 2.0 with just a lot more features and
Well, I'm just
a
saying
lot more
QL
quality of life
QL
things
2.0 would be
to
a
make it a
good
modern
game.
game.
That's all I'm saying. Like I don't think
Yeah.
there's something
Yeah, it's
wrong
just
with
a
being
modernized
QL
QL.
2.0.
That's what I thought
Yep.
going in. I thought they were
Yeah.
gonna be like, "Here's QL. What can we do to make it better?" You know,
yeah
and it just
exactly.
did not. That
Or
they
at
did not
least,
go
like,
that route.
Start with QL as the base, and
Well-
then like work from
well,
there.
I mean, you guys remember when we like played the alpha though early on? It's like, all right, I mean, this is decent.
It's getting there.
You know, it's like, you know, it's all right, but it's just like the rate of like progress of it getting better kind of just like never really. It's like never there were never like made that big jump to be like, oh wow, this is like getting really good now.
I wish
Well,
that
instead of like,
that clip didn't get deleted from the podcast where Too Good's like, yeah, I like hopped on and played QL TDM, and I was like, wow, this is like so much better than Diabotical, and like
I think it's gonna
I
be
don't-
still
I
in there. I
don't
think
know
the
what to
the only thing he's deleting is the like the cancer story or whatever, the fucking his
Yeah.
like sob
Well,
story.
I hope that clip is still in.
Can someone
That
summarize?
was
I missed that
perfect.
part. What that had to do with anything?
With the cancer
oh,
thing.
the thing I got fucking.
Yeah, I'm not
So
sure.
it's like, do you want to let Too Good on the cast in front of a bunch of people? And I was like, well, I guess like I can't really say no. And so I did, and then it just turned into one of those fucking Diabolical dev updates, just stream of consciousness shit that I usually don't have to watch, but then I was just trapped there just listening to it for fucking 2 hours. And
Yeah,
like,
it definitely turned into like a dev. So earlier that morning in like the Diabotical official channel, he was like talking and he's like, "Ah, maybe I'll do a dev update or something." And then I guess he saw you on the podcast and was like, "Now's the time. I'm gonna do it."
I don't know. I like Jake, but he shouldn't have let that happen. Or like once Too Good was on, he should have been like more of a host and like taken control. He just let Too Good go like forever.
Yeah, Phrase had to stop
Well,
him.
yeah, Phrase was like,
Yeah.
Phrase's line is like, "My God, I see why that guy got cancer."
Yeah.
What
Oh my god.
Um,
So funny.
Yeah, like I think Jake should have told him no, and then after he told him yes, like he should have at least like I don't know, like tried to rein him in.
I agree.
Yeah.
It is hard to make a game better
Jake
than
has to
QL.
walk like a thin line,
like Too Good
like
is
between
really
being good to his guests and also like being nice to Too Good.
Too Good is really obsessed with the idea of like, oh, shooting people doesn't feel good in Diabotical, but it feels good in AAA games, which I mean, I guess maybe that's true for like casuals and shit. Like, I mean, I don't really know, but I don't know. To me, it's like that's not like the difference maker at all. And what makes a game good or not is like that you have like a. But I don't know. I guess.
No, I
Sounds
agree,
aren't
I agree with that point
powerful.
that he makes. Like I like I never like the guns don't feel super great. Like I think it has to do with just like the animations, like the feedback you get when you hit somebody, like the sounds they make. Yeah, that they never quite
That's
nailed that down.
That's still very low on the list.
Yeah, points off of polish.
Yeah, it's just like small polishing points.
Well,
That's not why
to me
the
the
game
problem
feels
with
bad.
it is like and I think this is I'm assuming this is a netcode thing, but it's like you like you shoot somebody and like nothing happens because all the fucking like knockback is delayed, or like it just feels very slippery. Like it doesn't feel like, oh wow, I really stopped that guy in his tracks. You know, it's not anything to me specifically to do with the sound and the animation or anything like that. It's just that, you know, because the knockback's so delayed, it's like, you know, the whole game just feels slippery.
Yeah, I remember like in early beta when we were playing 2v2 and kept playing against wins over and over again. And it was so annoying because he had really high ping. So our rockets, like, we would hit a rocket and then like he wouldn't suffer any knockback until like half a second later. So it made it really hard to hit a follow-up rocket. And we were like, oh well, that's just because it's client side. Like that's not going to be a permanent thing. And it did get better. Like it's not as extreme as it used to be, but that problem never really went away, even after they changed the netcode.
Yeah, they never quite like got rockets feeling right. Yeah, the damage feedback. Somebody in chat was talking about how it feels like shit to get hit. The damage feedback has always been like an issue. It often feels like you go from like 100 health to 0, and you're not.
Oh
like,
yeah, well there was
You
there was
mean like
never really any,
300 stack to
Yeah,
nothing?
You
Yeah,
can take
like that
200
second.
damage and not even notice. Like
yeah there was no
Yeah,
like
exactly.
pain. Like you just get hit and there's no pain.
That was a
sound
huge
at all.
Yeah.
problem with Wipeout.
And
Like
they
this,
never fixed that.
because people are moving so fast. It's like all of a sudden, there's somebody behind me with their like rockets on my ass, and like I'm like at 50 health now before I
Yeah.
can even react.
Exactly.
yeah,
It's like,
like,
oh, I'm dead.
when you get railed, you have to like actually look at your health to tell if you got railed or not. Like
Yeah,
otherwise, you can't tell.
A lot of times, honestly, I will have taken damage and I have no idea. Like I had no idea where from or what. Like, yeah, there's like the notification's bad. The feedback or whatever.
Deleting your map one object at a time, Scourge.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
dude.
Taking the map apart.
Taking it apart. There's no reason
Oh,
for it
listen.
anymore. DB's done.
That's another good point. I've heard a lot of people, and this is kind of true, that despite whatever has occurred in the last couple of days, like these it doesn't affect everyone. Like, some people are going to continue to play and continue to have the same experience, and there's not going to be any difference whatsoever, or at least a lot of people think that.
I
For
mean,
me, I think it's like I think it's over.
who's gonna continue to play? Like
yeah, I
the
mean,
10 people who like JDB duel with? Like are those people gonna like I guess fat palm like a couple of shitty duelers are just gonna continue to play?
Yeah,
I mean,
well,
it's
like
fine,
even
but-
Prop and all his casual Wipeout friends are pissed because of like I don't know, like you can't queue for Wipeout properly now or something. I don't know. I don't play that mode.
You
I
have to
think
make a
actually
pickup and like just wait.
Teams are probably going to be pretty dead. I mean, maybe like the most pub of pub Wipeout or clan arena shit might run sometimes, but like no one's going to play any other team mode, I don't think. You might be able to get some duels just because you only need one other person.
Yeah, I mean it's gonna be like there's still a bunch of people who just are queuing QC duel all the time.
The game's
but
gonna be dead as shit like until Wipeout 2.0, and then there'll be some hype, and then there might be like there's gonna be a bunch
I
more
don't
new people maybe.
I don't think that like what
Yeah,
like
of
what
course
is
it's coming.
Yeah, any day now. No, is that gonna come after his first new game or his like second new game?
Well, haven't they been working on that for a long time?
What their first new game?
Wipeout 2.0.
Oh, Wipeout 2.
yeah.
They
They were talking
say
about it
that,
before the game was
but
made.
like,
Working on it a
I
long
think
time,
they
meaning
kind
the
of-
idea was come up with. It's probably-
yeah, like the actual implementation of it though.
you remember
He also
Like-
changed the idea. I'm sorry, I don't mean to cut you out. I just want to say he also changed the idea of like what Wipeout 2.0 is. Like, remember when it was like just adding objectives to Wipeout or like power-ups, and now it's like he's like implementing some fucking CS:GO like buy system to the game.
Wipeout was definitely. I think Wipeout was a mistake personally. I know this is
well, see, that's what I'm wondering, like about how much Too Good is actually to blame versus how much he's just Because I remember, like, when we got into the alpha Discord and we were playing around, like, everybody hated Wipeout. Everyone was like, "Yeah, this is kind of a bad idea. It's like CA but worse." And then later, when there was a big wave of people who got invited into beta, they were all just playing Wipeout 24/7. Like, they weren't playing anything else.
But what else was there at that point?
Yeah,
mean-
MacGuffin only had 2 maps, or
Oh, MacGuffin like wasn't even fucking in at that time. Like,
Yeah, I think
MacGuffin
it
didn't.
was
That's all I was playing.
MacGuffin didn't come until like a while later. I feel
MacGuffin
like
still
way-
has 2 maps.
Yeah,
But,
MacGuffin still, of
I
course,
think
only
they
has
had-
like
sure
2
you couldn't
maps.
play it in a
they had
custom
AIM Arena
game?
though. They had AIM Arena back then though.
Okay,
Yeah.
well, like, even if let's say there weren't any other modes. Like, that being the case, we were all saying Wipeout was bad, like, long before those people came in, and then like a bunch more people came in and we're all saying Wipeout is good. And like, I mean, I might be wrong, but I remember even Too Good saying he didn't like Wipeout. But if you have like all these people who apparently love it, like I don't know, felt like he had to push it.
Okay, so the reason people loved Wipeout is because it's like a novelty, it's like a new thing.
Is it?
Yeah.
It's Clan
Not
Arena
really.
with
Yeah, it's just
What do you
Clan
mean it's
Arena with
Clan
like
Arena?
it is Clan Arena with
How,
like
it's not Clan Arena at all. It's not
No,
round based
It's
like that. You,
Clan
like, you have
Arena with hiding.
Yeah.
you might have like 5 lives
very
in one
unique.
round, as opposed to Clan Arena where you have 1 life and then you might be stuck sitting there for like 2 minutes.
So
Clan Arena and AIM Arena are much better than Wipeout.
Yeah.
You spawn with all the weapons. You can rocket jump for free, and it does no damage.
I'm
to
not
you.
saying it's better, but it's like funner because it's new. It's like a new thing, and that's why it was such a hit, even with like the quote unquote pros.
Oh, I don't know.
The pros? What pros are you referring
Well,
to? I want
that's
names.
why I mean, I don't want to get into specifics, but like
No, please do.
that's why it said. That's why I said quote unquote
Fatality.
pros. I mean,
Fatality. Yeah, I was big with
Fatality.
Fatality.
Fatality only plays 15-round AIM Arena.
Remember when
he also
Fatality?
played 1,000
The
Fools.
problem
Dude, he
is
also
like
canoes J-Dub's sister Quake.
Yeah, I forgot about that.
problem is like Wipeout
Yeah.
was kind of like it's like this first idea, and then a ton of like time I guess went into it. They made like all these maps specifically for it, and then the maps are kind of not great. Like I don't know, like the hiding shit is just it's a type of thing that to me I'm like okay, it's an interesting idea, but then I would try it for like 10 games and be like wait a minute, like literally I'm just watching somebody hide in a fucking corner half the time. Like at least in Clan Arena, it's like when you're last alive, it's like, all right, you got to go make shit happen, or you're just gonna get fucked. You know. But no, you can just hide in a corner and oh, let me give you Siphonator too. Like, I don't know.
creates
the
some
fuck
pretty
just-
clutch moments. Really exciting.
Just from
I don't know
watching,
about that.
It sucks.
Well,
when you
it
get-
does.
Okay,
Sorry,
okay, I
Spike,
will
it's
say
like
this. Okay, the one thing I'll say about Wipeout, spectator-wise, it's like not. It's not bad. It's better than Clan Arena, but just playing and hiding in a corner is
No, it's not.
is
It's not
dumb.
fun. It's shit. It's awful.
Spectating somebody hiding in a corner is like dumb, but like if you're controlling the spectating, you can just always follow the people who are like running around looking for the guy, so that you don't bore somebody to death spectating. So like maybe you could argue, okay, this is like meant to be like better for the spectators, but I'm just saying playing wise, it's just like it just doesn't feel right. It doesn't feel right to gain an
it's a
advantage
mess
from hiding.
because people don't really know how to play it. Still, it's like
Okay, look,
What
I
are
have
you talking
literally
about?
played
never
it.
played
We played
Wipeout
it
as
like at the
much.
peak potential in the alpha, and now like in the pickups and shit since the release, it's like just been dog
Okay,
shit.
I
like
haven't
from
played any
day
of
one.
that shit. I've literally only played it in scrims, so
That's one of the problems personally I've had with the game. It's
I
like
don't know.
people are
Anything
just
pub
idiots
modes have
that
always
can't
been
figure out how
shit.
to play the game.
Even
I have
always
no
thought-
awareness.
modes
It's all
were
about
bad.
awareness. That's all Wipeout is. Like just being aware of like where your teammates are and like
Like
not dying like an
literally a
idiot.
huge part of Wipeout is okay, like let's split up our team so that we can stagger our deaths in like a certain order. That's like a humongous part of Wipeout. Like just I have to go die. Like just shit like that is.
Is splitting up the team like the ultimate meta? Are you sure?
I mean, I think it's very counterintuitive where
I
you're
think
playing
it's
a game where
Counter-Strike-ish, where like
I did beat Team Liquid in a wipeout scrim earlier today, so
I don't know.
Yeah,
It's like
I actually like. So I sometimes throw on like Ballin or Rafa or whatever, and like Ballin's team's always like, okay, I need to go die now, and I've seen them beat Team Liquid, and Team Liquid never really like does stuff like that.
yeah, they do.
No, they do.
What are you
they
talking
do, but-
about?
They do
No,
for sure. But
they aren't as conscious of it though as like Ballin's team.
Okay.
Yeah,
It's-
no, this is something I would do.
so,
Sometimes I'd be like
Listen,
staying alive
what
way
we're-
too long.
literally just staggering your
Yeah,
deaths. It's
okay,
like,
we're not here to discuss wipeout strategy.
But I'm
We
just
should
we're-
be
saying, like,
talking
we're-
about
the
wipeout-
strategy
wipeout
being
stats.
degenerate garbage.
No,
is
I
part of
understand.
the
Yeah, well,
meta.
I'm just trying to bring it back up to like the original point, and yeah, I agree. It's like wipeout is a shitty mode. I think it was a mistake. I think it's. I've said it before. I feel like it's an idea Too Good had, and he like jotted down on like a napkin one day, and it like sounded really good on paper. Like, what if people could respawn in CA? CA being like historically the most played mode because it's so easy. And I think it just did not pan out well. I feel like a wipeout like with objectives maybe could have been more interesting or something, but I don't know. I would have rather just had aim arena.
Yeah, or like, what if the objective on the map like respawns your team or something?
Yeah,
I
something
think
like
there should have
that.
been a
Like,
maximum amount of deaths. Like you can only die 3 times. And
Yeah,
then,
I mean-
because like it gets ridiculous when there's like 79-second respawn.
Well, a max amount of deaths is that's just lives. Then that's just aim arena with an extra life, right?
Yeah, true.
Which is fine because aim arena was
well,
good.
no, because it's different because
it's
there's a
not bad.
timer involved with wipeout.
I mean, I guess you could just have the timer then.
Well,
it's
then
whatever.
it's like,
it's
okay, you
just-
occasionally get the kill with like, on the first.
Having the
set of
timer
lives.
like obviously like changes the game.
You occasionally get the kill on the first few lives, yes. Like, and there's all this shit where it's like, oh well, I killed this guy 1 second before his teammates spawned with 200, 100, or I killed him 1 second after his teammates spawned with 200, 100. Like,
all right,
so much
we
fucking armor.
we have to fucking like we're here for a diabolical funeral, not to listen to a like
Yeah, we're
wipeout.
like-
We're
like
discussing why the game
running-
failed, right?
Yeah.
So, like, the reason it
Wipeout
failed is
is a
because they didn't
big
have a really awesome new mode.
Okay, so yeah, so if we're gonna bring it back around to that to talk about the modes.
Wait. First of all, we have to like decide what the failure is. Like, is it a failure because it didn't attract because it's not a popular game? Or
No,
for another reason?
I don't think. I think it's
Because I think we might be getting
okay.
those
So
conflated,
what
like, the
no,
reasons.
we're not. What I said earlier was basically like, okay, I don't think anyone ever expected this game to be popular. I think people either wanted a
I think
new
we did. I mean,
good. Well, okay, popular in the sense that like people who like all the Quake people would come play it. Not at least I don't know what your expectations were. Mine were that like, hey, we can get all
I
the
thought if
people
they
from all the
might have,
different
if
Quake
they
games.
like made a really good FPS with like modern graphics, then maybe because it's been so long since like an arena FPS has been a popular game, maybe like the new generations might take notice and get into it. I thought that might have been a possibility.
No, Prof. I have pretty much
Prof
the
Junison.
opposite view. I don't think
Yeah.
an arena FPS and the current year was ever going to be popular. I think that the best you can hope for is to pull together the communities of all these other fragmented AFPS games and get them all playing the same game and liking the same game.
Yeah.
And I think attracting a large number of new players who have never played an arena FPS was not a realistic goal. Like that's just how I see it. And I know it's kind of pessimistic, but I just feel like that's the reality.
Right.
Depends on how many
Yeah,
players say that you're alive,
exactly.
Say it.
If you could kind of gather everybody up between like behind like one game and then like one or two game modes in that game, you would actually have a pretty sizable community. I've been playing a lot of like NS2 lately. That game has one game mode, and there's always servers and always people playing, even though the community is only like 200 people. But because it's like one game mode, it's like you're always able to like find matches for that one game mode.
Can we lower the casket and I can say some words?
You gotta go.
Eventually, yeah.
Yeah,
okay.
yeah, Zorak. We're not Waifu Jake or too good. Like if you want to talk, feel free.
Yeah, you can interrupt
Sorry, I
us.
thought
Call us
already
idiots.
Donna I domine et lux perpetua luceat I requiescat in pake. Amen.
What the fuck did
Speaking
you
in
just
tongues,
say?
That's
son.
some
It's the
Latin
worst
shit.
Latin I've ever heard in my entire life.
What the hell did you just say,
And I
Zora?
took Latin for 2.5 years.
Eternal rest grant unto him, O Lord, and let perpetual light shine upon him. May he rest in peace. Amen.
God bless. All right.
God bless.
That was nice.
God bless.
I think it depends what you consider like a lot of players. Like I think a few thousand players is possible.
Yeah, I think a few thousand players is reasonable.
The
Well,
yeah,
you mean
I mean,
reasonable? How?
Like I mean,
For
that's
what?
So the
good
idea is to get
for
their
I think the
focus
Quake.
problem is though
was-
like you don't want to like chase players. You want to like make a good game, and then if you have a good game,
Yeah,
you market it. to players.
exactly.
You don't,
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
you don't
yeah.
just like do something so that like a guy who you don't want to just do something so that a guy who's like turning on the game for the first time is like
Dude,
marginally entertained for an additional 5 minutes. Like you
I
want to make a
just
really
I
good
don't
game.
think you guys. I mean, I just don't think making another Quake Live was an option. Like, it's just not an option. Like,
Okay, so
Then
maybe
why
you're
didn't
maybe
we
you're
make
Live was
something
a
else?
dead
Live
ass
was a
game.
pretty
Like,
good
hold on,
game.
hold on.
It was a pretty good
Been
game.
10
So
years.
so yeah, QL died for like other reasons though. I feel like it lacked a lot of modern features. It obviously had a lot of problems at launch
Not the-
Yeah.
the
with people
Champions.
getting in. I felt like he said Quake Live.
Yeah, but Quake Champions is coming out, so people kind of shifted toward that game.
That is true. We were playing more TDM before QC, and it was more active in general.
Well, yeah, there was still
Um,
QuakeCon and tournaments and shit back
Yeah,
then.
we still had tournaments. and
I
that
think
was true.
so. I think the problem.
It wasn't as alive as like 2010, but like it was still a lot better.
I'm not saying the
Um,
answer was to make QL again. I think my point more with that was if you don't know what
that
you
was
want to,
the
if
only
no,
point.
no, that wasn't my point. My point was like if you don't know what you're going to do, if you don't have an idea for a game in mind. So I'm fine with them making a completely new.
So, do you think they
Arena
should have made a new
FPS.
game or not? Because I don't think you've declared one way or another.
Okay, can I finish? I'm explaining that right
Yeah.
now. So I'm saying that if they had an idea for a new game, go for it. But they clearly didn't. They have no idea what they're doing. Because right now,
Yeah.
look at DB. It's just Quake but worse. It's
I
literally just
thought
QL
he
but
did
worse.
have a new idea. I thought there was an idea to have like a co-piloted mech of some sort or something.
If you watch the early I linked one
that
of the
got me excited. I'm like, cool, this is
Ideas
a new
or-
thing.
I linked one of the early dev updates, and if you watch that, he had a lot of ideas, but like almost all that shit got scrapped. Like that dev update had like a double jump in it and like some air control. Like he was definitely like keen on making something new, but I don't know what went wrong.
Okay, so here's a question. Remember when Halloween time when that survival mode came out? Like I knew it was a hit, and I didn't need to see the numbers or anything, but I knew everyone enjoyed it and had fun playing it. Why didn't they just keep that in the game instead of looking at the numbers and being like, okay, this is by far our most popular mode.
That
Got
kills
a
the
lot of
numbers for
hype.
all the other stuff.
Let's just take this mode and make an entirely new game. Why?
They are making a new game. Like that's
I know,
that's
but
going
why
to
wouldn't they
be.
just keep it? Why wouldn't they just keep that?
I mean, it is in QL, but you mean like the queue, right? Because it's in custom games.
Right,
Yes.
right, because it kills the queues of the other games. And then you have angry people that don't want to play the game at all. So
That's already happened.
it would
Yeah,
be
but
like a
that's what
downward
it
spiral.
takes, though.
I do
That's
agree.
what it takes,
I
though.
think it's interesting that they didn't shift their focus over to that because like if you remember like Fortnite was kind of the same way where like Fortnite wasn't a BR but like the BR became popular so they're just like all right let's just roll with that. Someone's saying it's because they only had one map. Yeah, that's true. I mean they could have made more maps.
Yeah,
though.
they can't like pivot completely like that.
Prometheus could have cranked out a bunch more maps for that thing.
But honestly, that map that they did have for it was
That was a MacGuffin
literally-
map.
That was just a MacGuffin map that they just like threw on the zombie spawns on it. Just
Yeah.
on a couple other of the big maps, like if you like Refinery or some shit. Or
Yeah,
something.
they literally just threw the zombie
maybe
spawns on
not
that.
something as vertical as Refinery, but you know, because those, well, you know, those guys can't jump.
I know
But
I know
you
what
get
you
the
mean.
idea. But I mean, I don't know. It's just like, yeah, it's kind of. I don't know. I like I said, I think that just making Quake Live again is like a pretty good game. and some
It's
nice
tough,
modern
man.
features
I
would be
think
good.
I think it's so. That's the thing. That's kind of my whole point. Is like if you have an idea for a new game and you want to do something that hasn't been done before, or you have like a bunch of interesting ideas, like go for it. The problem is Diabotical doesn't like he doesn't implement any of his ideas, or he doesn't do it correctly, and he's using Quake as a base. And the problem is if you use Quake as a base and just try to like bolt really shitty ideas onto it, like MacGuffin or Wipeout or the Void Cannon or like the bouncing shotgun, you just
The
get
dash.
you just get worse Quake. So you either need to do one of two things. You need to either make Quake again, or you need to make something new. You can't be in the
Something
middle of
completely
these.
different.
You can't sit in the like. Again, it's a lack of focus and direction. You can't just be like, well, we're not Quake, but we're also not something new. It's like you have to be something new, or you have to be Quake.
It was
Yeah, that's
basically
kind
on
of the
release. It
problem.
was like we were trying to make Quake. That's kind of what it was at the beginning, and then it's like after like the game was released, it just slowly shifted to not being Quake anymore. Which it was still, it completely defeats the purpose because the game is still too much like Quake. It's trying to be both at the same time. It's trying to be a new game and Quake. So
Yeah, that's the problem. Is like, who is the audience for Diabotical? Because like everybody, in this conversation, like we're the people who have been playing like Quake pickups for fun for the last few years when Quake has been dead forever, and most of us don't play Diabotical, and those of us who do are just looting the ship for money, basically. So like, if we don't like it, and new players don't like it, then who does? It's like, I don't know.
Jewel Bars says he wants onto the Discord. Somebody give him an invite.
Didn't he get invited like 2 days
Yeah,
ago,
and
and
then he
then
left again because he's a fucking idiot. I don't know.
I'll send him an
So
invite.
so I do agree that like they did do so Reflex had different problems though. Reflex launched way too early. Like that's like its own discussion.
what's up,
Reflex
Boris?
came out and it was like
What's up, Jules?
it was like in a complete state of disarray. Like nothing worked. I think DB launched in a much better state than Reflex did. Anyways,
Reflex also air control and arts.
yeah,
The art style was really bad.
air control in general, I think that the art style improved. That's like again, like Reflex was another one of those games that actually like improved a decent amount, but it was just too late. Like you just can't do anything at that point. Like nobody's gonna play it. Like if it had launched in its like final state, I think it would have been okay.
I think if Reflex made the exact same game but with vanilla movement instead of air control, I think it would have been a bigger success though.
I disagree with
Yeah,
that.
no,
In the sense that they wanted to be the CPM replacement, but it
they
wasn't enough
didn't.
like CPM.
They didn't. Yeah, they didn't do that. Anyways, what
It
did you
was
want to
kind of
say?
its own weird balance.
What did you have to say, Jewel Wares? What are your thoughts on DB here at the funeral?
My thought is that he failed in the core design of the game. 20 years ago, whatever, 23 already, when Quake 3 came out, right? Joe
Mhm.
Carmack came out and said, I want to fix multiplayer. I want to be focused on multiplayer. After Too Good said, oh, I want to do 3 against 3, and then we'll see how other modes go. He failed to, any great game that was played for years and years and years, basic same concept. It was rock, paper, scissors. All 3 different talents, and you just express your talents. That's why me, Ray, and Zork played for years in Quake Live. We just were exercising our skills and we're playing fun. DB doesn't have that. StarCraft has that, Warcraft has that, all the great games that have been played for 25 years. Simple rock, paper, scissors, and you exercise your own priorities, your strength, you train your strength. Diabotical with their high speed, with a dash, with its biggest advantage. Basically, Too Good gives you scissors and say run, and we run at each other with scissors. And it's extremely fucking boring really fast. And he said, oh, we're going to focus 3 against 3. That's fucking most retarded thing ever. Quake Live is an amazing game because it's focused on multiplayer. It doesn't focus on any specific thing. You can have 1 against 1, you can have CTF, you can capture the frag, you can have any fun free stack, you can have in any number of players, and it's scalable. You don't give a shit in Quake Live what you play. You can play anything. In DB, again, he's just saying 3 against 3, this is the maps, this is how you play a game, we balance against 3 against 3. That's just fucking retarded. Balance game properly at 1 against 1, make it. And there's no also this high base in Diabotical. There is no decision making during the game. You have to come up with a plan before the game, otherwise you're just fucking gonna get rolled over. because of all this shit. So you have to slow down the game. You have to maybe move the fucking dash or something, and you have to put those rock, paper, scissors in the game. No matter what game type it is, it has to be there on fundamental level, on the core of it. That's why DB fails. And if next game he releases, if he doesn't implement same concept, he's gonna fail. You're gonna just have what you against scissors run each other, whatever it is.
So if I'm understanding this right, you're basically just saying that the game is like too rush heavy, and it's just like people just kind of running at each other.
You have strength or aiming. Someone has strengths of defending. Somebody has strengths like of timing, and those skills can have to complement each other or counter each other. There's not just thing diabotical. Basically, everyone is aim, and if you don't have aim, you're shit. And if you ever look like, there's no concept of different skill and game types. You only have to in Diabotical only one game type or game strength. Just trust your opponent.
Yeah, I agree with that.
And even bad people, for example, like there was A Marina and Too Good was, Messick is a good player. He might be a great player, but even he, who new guy, right? Who just had aim, he got bored of the game because he was good at aim. The game and that's it. He got bored of it. He was bored of something he couldn't because other aspects of rock paper scissors didn't challenge him or didn't need it. That's why everyone got bored.
That's Jewel Bars talking right now.
I agree with that. I completely agree with that. I think Dash really screwed things up and made it hard to balance everything else around it.
Well,
and game pace itself, like it's extremely fast. There's no decision making.
So hold on, if I could just can I again go back to what I was saying earlier. I think the dash, if you were to make the game around that, would be fine, but they clearly didn't do that. You know what I mean?
Well, in the beta, dash was also offensive, defensive. You can use it in combat. You can get out of stuff as guerrillas get in. And they just like we played Necro, right? We played in Alpha and Beta, and then they fucked it. Yeah, it was difficult to use, but again, it was somewhat comfortable. Yeah.
It's like Quake, but with a new thing now.
It wasn't just a new thing though, because it was like you could just, you could get into a fight, okay, and just dash out at any point in time, and you would not be able to catch your opponent. It was just silly. Not good. What are you talking about?
That's fine. Like, what's wrong with that?
Fine.
You have the equal opportunity to chase me with your dash.
Because you can punish people for making mistakes that way. That's why.
It's another thing about
I think
you can, but it might be delayed longer.
I think the dash is again another one of those ideas that James just kind of bolted onto the game that didn't really belong in a Quake type game. I feel like if he was going to like make something new, he could have incorporated the dash. But if he was just going to make like QL, like the dash is just like worse.
It went really halfway with it with the fucking shit where it's like it goes on cooldown.
Oh yeah, that too. If you just get like.
Because at that point, it's now only good for an initial rush down now. Like, because, so like, yeah, all right. I understand some people might not like the shit where you can use it to escape from a fight, right? Like, I mean, that's like a possible preference thing. But like now, it doesn't even make sense for a new player. They're like, why the fuck is my dash not up? So they can't even use it to like learn to move around the map. And meanwhile, it makes it so that, yeah, you can just rush everything because if you dash around a corner, shoot the guy with Peeker's advantage, he now can't dash. Like so it's only good for rush downs. Like
that's actually exactly why the dash is completely like they didn't think about it at all. I remember clearly the goal of the dash, according to Too Good at the time, was he was using it as a tool for new players to get up to speed, basically. And that's the only reason he wanted to add a dash into the game, was just to help new players out,
I know Cypher removed it right away because it was screwing his game, and I'm sometimes like Morgan said, sometimes I just stand still, wait for dash to come up, and then I move. And I can't stop it. It's like I'm a retard, but yeah. No, I'm in the corner of something and I'm about to rush, and I'm like, I'm gonna wait for dash to get that speed up, and like it's just retarded. I should have just strafe jump. I know how to strafe jump. I've been doing that for 20 years. Why not? Yeah.
But you and also like one of the things in balanced jumping around a corner with like a fat circle jump or strafe jump is like you have to do mouse movements to make that happen. So like whereas dash you can just be like dashing in while pre-aiming at the exact perfect spot.
But yeah, what I think the whole
you exercise, or may let you think. It's just aim, 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 rush. Good job, Drunk Zorak.
Audio should be back now.
Oh damn, audio missed the talking about drunk Zorak.
No, well, I think it missed that little bit, but it didn't miss much. It was just out for a second.
Okay, guys, thanks for the invite. I'll see you in a couple of years. Bye.
Where are you going, Joel Mars?
Jules.
Oh, rest in peace, dude.
Ah,
Leave the Discord
he's
again.
gone.
what a
Did
piece
he
of
leave
shit.
the Discord again?
Probably.
No, he's still here for now. At least he's probably. Gonna leave
I don't think that like Diabotical broke the mold at all, though. I guess if you're saying like Quake-like, but that's kind of my problem though. Is like I think the Quake formula is like perfected almost. If you try to add things to like the Quake 3 formula, it just ends up feeling worse. It doesn't get better. I think if you're gonna make something new, you just need to make something new. The example I've been using recently is like Half-Life Deathmatch, like the original Half-Life Deathmatch, where it's just like a totally different, like it's still an arena FPS. It still has those core kind of values of what like make an arena FPS, where it's like,
Sort of copying Quake TDM.
It's like super fast. It has map control, but at the same time it's like it has so many different, like it has reloading and so many different guns, and like you have like all the Gauss gun, and all the mechanics that come with that. Like it's a completely different game. It's definitely like you wouldn't look at that and go like, oh yeah, that's Quake.
Like that's kind of what I was getting at earlier. Like if you accept, what I believe is a fact, right? That if you make an arena FPS, then a significant portion of your player base, like at minimum half, are just going to be old Quake boomers. So you can't deviate like too much from the core formula, or else those people aren't going to like it. Like it's okay to try something new and innovate, but like I don't know, the core has to be like there and comfortable for people who have been playing like the older games forever.
The problem
it's better to try and please one crowd than to try and please all the different arena FPS crowds, because obviously none of them are gonna like it at the end.
Well, yeah, either you try to please one of them, or you just make something new, right? And he really didn't do either. As far as like the modding thing, I don't think DB has the luxury of like waiting for the community to fix it like Quake 3 did, or even Quake 4. Like games don't work like that anymore. There's like so many other games and so much other shit to do out there. Like I don't think people are gonna wait around for like somebody to come up with like the perfect mode through custom games or modding or whatever in DB. Like even if there was like proper mod tools, I just don't think that would happen.
So should we open up the other can of worms mentioned by Joel Bars, which is 3v3?
Oh god,
Literally
yeah.
Entire game balanced around some like 3v3 modes. And then,
Yeah.
Actually, I saw a
never
good
even
comment
figured
about
out a
that
good 3v3 game
earlier.
mode.
What's your good comment?
Well, no, a comment in the Twitch chat. This guy was asking a question about Wipeout. Weren't the maps designed for 5v5, then it became 4v4, and eventually 3v3?
Yeah, so I could speak on that for like a quick second. So the thing is like a lot of people complained about the maps at launch, especially the dual maps. And the thing is that like, and I definitely don't envy Prometheus for being in this position, because it was like the game kept changing. So it's like, how do you make maps for a game that's constantly changing, that like has no clear direction? You just have to kind of do the best you can. That's why like a lot of the dual maps had to do like Bioplant had a pretty big makeover, because it was like, well, when that map was originally made, like it was made forever ago, like early 2019, even before that, I think. Like the game was totally different back then.
Well, I mean, that's another can of worms, which was like one of the things back when we were playing really early on in the alpha and beta, and we're like, okay, duel's all right, but it's like, these maps have some problems or whatever. It's like, oh, well, one thing I'm not worried about is maps, because like, oh, they have this map editor, like,
Oh
you
no.
can just
Hold on, we're not at the iceberg yet. Just we need to back it up. Let's go back
back
to
it up to
3v3.
Back to
Yeah.
3v3.
That was a solid segue, I'll say.
That is
Yeah.
a can of worms.
That is definitely a can of worms. Let's,
Yeah, so 3v3, it's like I don't hate the idea of it in principle, but we don't have any like historically good modes for it. So then it's like, all right, you either need to come up with a really good mode idea or just go with 4v4, which is like people always did that for CTF and TDM and whatnot in the past. Arena FPS was typically 4v4, right? So, and then the thing is, like, we got this kind of half baked thing where, oh, let's do 3v3 wipeout because that's like the most popular casual mode. MacGuffin 3v3 is all right, but it's like it's a little bit too like just crazy sussing, like everybody just rushes like 1 point over and over again. It doesn't feel like it's hard to watch, you know. There's just like it's just people constantly rushing in. There's no like time to catch your breath or anything when you're watching it. And then TDM got thrown out the window for Extinction.
so TDM was like the only mode that I thought worked like a little bit better in threes. Like I actually really like 3v3 TDM.
Yeah, 3v3 TDM is not bad. I mean, and but you know, it's like I mean, for something that like you can just explain to anyone. Also, MacGuffin has a huge problem, which is like if you go to a random person who plays video games on the street and tell them like, oh, MacGuffin, they're gonna be like, what the hell is that? If you say sacrifice, they're gonna be like, what the hell is that? If you say team deathmatch, they're gonna be like, okay, I have like an idea of what's going on. If you say capture the flag, they're gonna be like, all right, I have an idea of what's going on, you know.
Yeah,
But then,
well, again, remember, like, the whole, and maybe I'm just jumping ahead here a little bit, but, like, the whole thing, like, with 3v3 was because of, like, esports. And that was, like, a huge
yeah,
kind of issue with this game. I'm sorry, go ahead, continue what you're saying.
yeah, just okay. So it had to be 3v3 because we can't get esports teams to sponsor anything. But now it's like, all right, 3v3 tournaments have already been basically killed off, and we, you know, it's like we never had to worry about an esports team sponsoring anything, right? 3v3 tournaments are already like kind of, you know,
But yeah,
it seems like they're gone, right? So
yeah, I do think that's really funny that, like, there was such
Well,
a
there was
worry.
COVID to blame
Yeah,
a bit for
exactly. It
that.
was like you had Corona going on, and it was like, well, like there's no lands anyways, so it's really funny that we're still doing like 3v3, even when that's like a non-factor at this point, or like back when it would have been a factor, I guess. When they kind of started every like the esports, the test tournament or whatever.
and like so 4v4 CTF was a pretty good mode from past games that like you can explain it pretty quickly to anybody. You can feel like you're doing something as like a random noob by just like trying to touch the flag and capture it, even if you're like not that good at doing damage or fighting or whatever. And yeah, the I think CTF maybe you could make it work 3v3, but it would take a lot of effort. But like 4v4, you could have just dropped it
Yeah,
right
it
straight
just
in.
it
You
wouldn't
know?
have been worth it for sure. I think the thing with like 3v3, I guess CTF is like for whatever reason, it seems like at multiple points in this game's history he wanted CTF to be a thing, but like never went through with it. Like there's all these CTF maps that went to waste. Like I already one of them.
Yeah.
Like the Japanese one just like went
Yeah,
to
do you remember the good
waste.
times when you were like arting maps and we were
There
excited?
there was like yeah, there's that. There's like a cathedral, which is like pretty cool. There's a couple other ones. Waterworks is like really nice looking.
Jail?
Yeah, jail.
Jail?
And it's like all these maps are just like rotting because like CTF's not in the game for like whatever arbitrary reason because Too Good thinks it needs like a grappling hook or whatever. They could have put CTF like in the queue a long time ago. I don't know.
Yeah, that's
That's
a real
right.
problem if you think about all those maps that just never got used. Like such an inefficient usage of like
Resource.
development time. Like they, spent all this time on this shit that ultimately doesn't matter like at all.
It's a
Yeah.
big waste of money.
Yeah, it just feels bad. I mean, CTF was pretty fun in Quake Live, and it's also like a mode that had actual noobs in it. At least in pubs. I mean, I don't play dumbass pubs, but Like you could feel like you're doing something.
Well, yeah, it's
Right.
just like you could just get like a weapon and run around, and even if you're like totally new, it's like you're just gonna shoot people, and it's just gonna be like a big stalemate or whatever for a little while, and
Yeah, and you're not punished for dying really. You just
yeah,
respawn and
exactly.
good to go. Like yeah, I don't know.
Well,
It's just kind
I
of a
mean, what?
shame that CTF died because it had to be 3v3 and like in order to make 3v3 CTF work, you'd have to like really test some stuff out. You can't just drag and drop it like you could with a 4v4 CTF. So
Oh, yeah, yeah, 100%. I don't think 3v3 CTF is a good idea though. But I mean, 3v3 in general for esports is like a dumb idea too. It's such an arbitrary like restriction. Just be like, oh, these esports teams like won't sponsor. Like your game doesn't even exist yet. Like you don't need people like sponsoring teams or whatever. Just like make a good game,
yeah,
and if
it's
it works,
one
like
of
people will
those,
come.
yeah, and it's one of those things too where it's like if you wanted to make a mode for esports that's 3v3 and you like really worked hard on that mode and like made that the centerpiece of your game, it's like, all right, maybe that could work. I mean, I don't know, yes or no, but that's kind of like it's just everything was like halfway. It's
Yeah,
like all right, we want something to be for esports, but we're just gonna like throw together some modes from previous arena FPS games that like maybe they'll work, maybe not, and like just kind of throw them in there together. And then like yeah, the only one that is, I guess, quote unquote casual friendly is fucking Wipeout. I guess already went into all my problems with Wipeout, but yeah, I don't know. Just feel like 4v4 CTF is like something that it like
I
it's
think
like
it could have
it takes a
been.
second to learn and a
Yeah.
long time to master. You know.
Yeah. No, I agree. I think that would have been a much better mode. I think MacGuffin was a big mistake. MacGuffin was like a discount game mode in Q. Well, let me back up a little bit. The reason that I was told through like the dev Discord and stuff that I was in that MacGuffin was in the game was because Rafa specifically asked for it. He asked for sacrifice. So like, if you look at some of those old dev streams, Too Good like refers to like, well, the pros wanted MacGuffin, and that pro was Rafa. I don't know why the fuck he wanted it. Maybe because he spent all that time practicing sacrifice in QC. Um, but yeah, I like generally I think that was like a huge mistake to include MacGuffin. It just doesn't play very well. I feel like it's a discount game mode.
And it's like if that's your centerpiece mode, I just think it's like it's too confusing for like a casual, and it's like it's just constant rushing everywhere. You can't just like chill and like you know uh there's no chill time. I mean, CTF is also like that, but at least in CTF, it's like if you just jump into any random game and it's like, oh, the mode is CTF, it's like you know what you're supposed to be doing. In MacGuffin, it's like no one knows. I mean, even if they just changed the name of the mode to like One Flag CTF or something, that would have made it better. Like,
yeah, that probably would have made more sense.
Yeah. Like I have always thought MacGuffin was a terrible name.
They also started development MacGuffin like really late. Like they didn't really start doing MacGuffin stuff, at least like
wasn't in
that
the
I
alpha
could
that
see.
we were
Yeah,
in.
it wasn't in the alpha that we were in originally, the Steam one, and it wasn't even in the closed like the first closed beta they ran. Like they didn't really start fucking with MacGuffin until the second dev Discord that I was in. Like after they basically shit canned the first alpha Discord because it was just flooded with idiots. They made that second one. There they started doing like MacGuffin testing, but like the game was so close at that point. Like I don't like again like I said earlier like sacrifice was like a discount mode in QC. Like it was just like they just like threw objectives on already existing maps. For like
Oh, well,
budget
do you know the
reasons.
story of Sacrifice in QC? Do we want to go over that? So
Yeah, go ahead.
at QuakeCon 2016, we played the alpha build of Quake Champions, and it had a different mode that was also called Sacrifice, where it was basically TDM with control points. There were 2 control points on the map, and those they later became the sacrifice bases. But those 2 control points, and if your team was controlling both of those points, you got like it was TDM, but you got 3 points per kill instead of 1. Right, so they had this mode, and everybody played it, and it was mean, it was interesting to say the least, but it was basically just like casual TDM, but like, all right, you're going to try to control these points because if you let the other team control both, they're suddenly getting 3x points for every kill. So, all right, whatever. We played it for, we're talking like 20 minutes in like an alpha test thing at QuakeCon, just like in a little private booth area. And I mean, just the other thing people said is like spectator wise, it's like, all right, you're just, again, it's the same TDM shit where like you're just watching a scoreboard slowly count upwards. And so then they come up with their second crack of sacrifice, which was, again, they wanted to be something about sacrificing stuff to the elder gods. So that's where like the name comes from. But so then the sacrifice that we got in Quake Champions was like their second attempted sacrifice, where they wanted to come up with a mode that had a little bit more like, like big moments
Something
to
to
it.
follow.
Yeah, like
More objective based.
More objective based, yeah. Yeah. And then, I guess like I think my understanding in Quake Champions is like it was not great for spectators, but then like people had fun playing it, I guess, because if you're just like if you're like a good player and you want to just rush around like aiming at people, it's like it's all right, but it's just kind of a mosh pit mode.
Yeah, that's the thing about sacrifice. I mean, I know there's some like good players who disagree with me, but there's also some good players who do agree with me. So anyway, the problem with sacrifice to me was that it was always just a complete like cess game mode. The item pickups literally didn't matter. Like nobody times anything except for power up, because like if you're taking an extra 15 seconds like out of your route to go get an item, that's like 15 seconds that the opponent is capturing, and it's just not worth it. And I think like maybe in 3v3, like in MacGuffin, the items matter a little bit more than they ever did in Sacrifice, but it's just
Yeah,
like way too brainless for me.
Maybe
do
because
think-
the maps are smaller.
Well, I do think sacrifice.
No, the
Well,
actual point would count up way faster.
I think the maps were like another problem. Like during that second alpha Discord or whatever the dev Discord is like, I don't think like people didn't really know how to make MacGuffin maps, because like what do you do? Do you just like make a deathmatch map and put objectives on it? Like people really weren't sure, and I think that's why you only ended up getting like 2 maps. There was like a lot of other maps that they tested in that Discord. Like the people who were in there who were like testing shit, they played like a lot of different maps.
I do think MacGuffin is better than Sacrifice based on what I've played, and the items do matter more in MacGuffin and all that. But it's yeah, I don't know. I'm just saying like spectator wise and new player wise, it's just like a giant mosh pit on like. Also, 3v3 helps with that. Like when it was 4v4, it was like so fucking hard to tell what was going on as a spectator. Not to mention that you got anarchies just flying around everywhere.
It's really similar.
Is there a way you can bulldoze the map down instead
Like
of just...
MacGuffin consists of spawning and like going directly to shaft and like rockets. Like that's what you really don't need items. It's pretty much the same.
Yeah.
Like you spawn with what, like 150 stack, or I mean.
Yeah. I mean, items do help, but yeah, it's
only
like
if they're on the way.
yeah, it's yeah, it just I don't know. I don't think it's like an amazing mode. It's like it's okay. I do think at 3v3 it's probably better, but I mean I don't know. TDM though, I think 3v3 again. I think just anything 4v4 can be, if it doesn't have like a very nice objective like CTF, it can be very hard to follow 4v4 because that's just too many players jumping around.
Yeah, well, I think another thing. I understand why they didn't go with TDM, because that is like it's a very difficult mode, especially in 3v3. And I think another thing about 3v3 that isn't mentioned a whole lot compared to 4v4 is that 3v3 is very hard to like balance teams. Like when we were playing 3v3 in QL for a little while, it almost always felt like the teams were unbalanced compared to 4s. Like you just can't have like a boat anchor. If that makes any sense. Whereas in like 4s, you can sort of get away with it.
Ray still complained about teams even in 4v4.
I mean, that's just Ray being a dumbass, though. Like he's always complaining about.
No,
teams.
we had a lot in pickups.
No,
we had
Ray
a lot of
picks
bad
bad teams on purpose. We've been over this.
Yeah, that's old news.
All
What
right,
did you say, Ballin?
I was just gonna say we have plenty of bad teams in 4v4, but it was even worse in 3v3.
Yeah, no, I feel like it was like amplified in 3v3. Like if you just even if the teams were like slightly off, like just a little bit off, like it just like went to shit compared
the problem
to
with 3v3 is that it's hard to balance out the teams. Also, it's like you don't even know who your third shitter is gonna be, so you just pick them basically. Whereas in 4v4, it's a lot easier to pick teams that way.
You can like do in 4v4, you can like put a boat anchor on a team and then put the best player and like one other good
Yeah.
player on that team, and they can like carry that boat anchor together. But like basically if you put the best player and a good player and put the boat anchor on that team in 3v3, it's like they'll just lose to 3 good players.
Yeah.
Yeah, do you guys remember when you got boat anchored by Dakina in the Ballins tournament?
Yeah, I remember. I feel bad about that
Yeah.
still. I bullied him pretty hard after that.
Yeah,
he was like he was genuinely
you wouldn't do that.
he was genuinely fuck you, prof. He was genuinely like upset too. I was just like, dude, you're fucking taking a big shit today.
No,
like we could have won
he
this
accepted
game.
responsibility. He was like, "I'm sorry, it's my fault," and then Scorch is like, "Yeah, you had diarrhea." Or something.
Yeah, you know who was on the team with me and Prof? It was good old Cody 1.
Oh yeah.
I remember beating up on Aerobucks and Frisco back
Oh.
when they started the Prevail name, and
Oh.
they had HRB with them.
Yeah, no, we beat him up too in that tournament. We beat him on we knocked him out of losers. It was like me, Ray, and Dakanal. We beat him on intervention. That was great. Slapped him around.
It's funny when you see Aerobucks stand there so salty and everything.
Who?
Do you
sent
remember when
guys down to
Airbucks got
losers?
kicked from who sent us to you guys did? We were
Oh shit!
I gotta say, one other thing going back to 3v3 is like, I know it's like, all right, for casuals, you want to make a team-based thing,
mhm.
but it's like, wanting so badly there to be team-based esports is like, I don't know. I mean, Duel is like the easiest fucking esport to run. It's like, oh, you have problems with teams sponsoring 4 players. Like, oh, they only got to sponsor one fucking idiot to get to this goddamn LAN. You only need to have like, you know, you only need to invite like 16 people to LAN and have 16 computers instead of having to have like a billion computers for all these teams at LAN. Like, Duel is like the easiest esport ever to run LANs for, and then like, maybe you should have just had your esports be fucking Duel, but it's like I guess they're team mode players, so they never wanted to just go all in on that. I mean, Duel could
No,
have been
well,
focused on a lot
I mean,
more.
James has dueled before, and like knocked it. Like everyone there is like duel. I guess Wins isn't really
No,
like
but
a
they all
dueler.
hate it. They all hate Duel.
Yeah, that's
It's like,
that's true.
I'm saying Duel would have been if let's say you
So-
made something good for the casuals, and then your esport is just Duel, and it's like those were the only 2 things in the fucking game. Like that could have been fine.
I think I've mentioned this before, but that's like, and I understand where you're coming from, but I also like I see what they were trying to do because like modern games don't operate that way. Like most modern games, you have like the esports and like what the idiot casuals are playing are one and the same, right? Like Rainbow Six is that way, Overwatch is that way, Counter Strike is that way. Like you're playing the same game that the pros are, pretty much. Sometimes there's like minor changes, but like when you queue up or whatever, it is the same game from like the bottom to the top. I understand like their want of. I understand like their want of like, okay, well we want like a team mode that the casuals can play, and then we'll have the pros playing it too. But I also agree like they just made like too many concessions, and that at a certain point maybe they should have just focused on Duel, and just had like casuals play Wipeout or whatever.
Duel got absolutely zero focus. They like
Okay.
literally repeatedly laughed at Duel the entire time. Meanwhile, Duel had like all the best viewer numbers and everything. Like when they were running tournaments.
Yes, some guy in chat. It's like that's another point. Is like it's the best mode to spectate, but it's also just like the hardest mode to get into as well. So it's like you don't have as many players. I feel like that would have been an interesting approach to Diabotical.
Well,
and I think James was talking about this. Like if
you want your esports valuation multiplier increase, it's like all right, your esport is just Duel, the easiest fucking esport to run, and that's it. Like, I'm just saying that could have been done, and Duel could have gotten more
Well,
focus.
I think
we could have had more Duel tournaments. We could have
Yeah, I
had
mean,
actual
Arena,
fixes to the Duel maps.
yeah. I mean, you also
Arena
lose that.
FPS is like a 1v1 mode. Like, it's never really been too successful with team modes.
I mean, I don't disagree. I'm just saying like there are a lot of reasons to go with team modes, and I understand why they did, but I think it was like silly that they ignored duel so much, considering like the viewership was like way higher for like duel tournaments.
On the wider
speaking of-
context.
okay, all right, go ahead. I'll do my
Sorry.
transition in a second. Go ahead.
Just the last thing on like the wider context, it does fill the like one niche in terms for like new players who want to play like a first-person shooter that like is mainly 1v1 focused, because like Quake is the only game that does that out of like all the popular FPS games that are out there. So it fills that sort of niche for new players who, you know, a lot of them are going to leave, a lot of them are going to rage quit, but you can slowly trickle in new players that might be interested in that.
But the problem there though is like that's not like a good business model. Like you're not gonna like make money that way. Like you can't just. I understand what you're saying. I don't disagree.
I'm coming from like the kind of like melee perspective, like how they slowly grew that up.
But fighting games, I think, is like I don't understand fighting games anymore. Like I used to think that like fighting games were like the example to point to when it was like, well, 1v1 works. Just look at fighting games. But like those games don't make any sense. They don't follow the logic of any other game.
Melee does though. I do think Melee does. I don't understand the other fighting games though.
One big advantage that fighting games have that FPS doesn't have, especially AFPS, is that like anybody off the street can just watch a fighting game and know who's winning and know what's going on.
Yeah,
that's not really the case in a game like this.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Well, that's debatable.
If
it's a game like Skullgirls or some shit, then you know, or fucking.
Well, yeah, but like, those are like the more obscure ones. I think he's talking about like Street Fighter like Smash Brothers
still,
or
you
whatever.
have a guy throwing fucking fireballs and shit.
Street Fighter is yeah.
I get it.
I think those games also end up being more mainstream because they're like console games or whatever.
Is like Duel player wise is like. Am I wrong that it's like relatively for this game successful? Like you have all those people that JDB duels with, they're all playing. Like you know, you have a lot of people that seem to be people who aren't very good. Like
yeah,
you had a ton of people.
Like 100 plus people signed up for the NA Duel tournament.
They're not playing for the money.
I know they're playing like 170 people signed up for the first duel. Yeah, and now it's down to like 100 or less.
Because there's no more tournaments.
Well, yeah, but I'm just saying, like, Duel, for what little they put into it, was like, you know, like, it seems like they were decently successful at getting people in there. Even people who had never dueled before, liked trying it out. And maybe some of that is because certain situations were noobified. You could just rush around with rockets everywhere and, like, have some success. Maybe that's part of it, maybe that's not. But I'm just saying, like, if a little more focus had gone into Duel, like, you know, I'm saying like that's one of the parts of the game that was really successful, despite the fact that it seemed like it was always getting shit talked. It never really got much focus at all. And then the other thing that I was gonna say, you know, about Duel, one of the ways Duel never got any focus is none of these damn maps ever got fucking updated. Like we're playing on the same like dumbass maps forever because all the mapping time is getting taken up by all these team modes that literally no one's even playing. And
I think the community was supposed to do the dual map spawn, but we all know how that went.
Yeah, but
is it that time?
Is it that time? Are we? I guess the only thing I have. The only thing. Okay, we'll. It could be that time.
My transition, okay?
I know. Let me. I just wanted to have some last thoughts on Duel. Is that I agree. Somebody in the chat made a good point too. That like a big difference is that duels are like. Duels traditionally are like 10 minutes or whatever, whereas like fighting game matches are like way less than that, like 2 or 3. I do like the thing in Diabotical they added where like the timer like shifts, so if you're just getting like owned, the duel's only like 3 minutes long. I do think that a couple things that they implemented were actually really good changes to Duel. I think the golden frag is like...
Frag.
You don't like golden frag?
No.
Actually, you know what? I'm sorry. I don't mean to keep like cutting off your
Ray's a
transition.
dumbass.
But
Like
no,
everyone likes golden.
hold on,
frag.
hold on. Hold on. I want to hear, Balm. What did you think of Golden Frag? Because it was your idea. Like you've thought of it like way before Diabotical came out. You're like you should confirm a frag,
alright.
and then they added it, and it's like how do you think it played out? Like,
I mean, I like it. The one thing that I think you could argue is somebody who, when their opponent is on Golden Frag, can just hide forever with like no urgency. And again, that's exacerbated by things with the armor system, where eventually the other guy has to leave armors up, and which, by the way, duelers were complaining about that in the fucking alpha Discord from like literally day one of that shit being added to the game. By the way, but anyway. Um, so I do think there were a couple bad parts of Golden Frag. Overall, I still like it. And I think that maybe what you could do is put Golden Frag with a hard time limit of like plus 5 minutes. So like let's say you hit Golden Frag at the like 10-minute mark. All right, the hard time limit is now 15 minutes, and like the guy who's losing has to he has like 5 additional minutes to come back, or if he gets killed once, it's over. I think maybe that could be like a decent middle ground if you're concerned about like these Golden Frag stalemate situations, which is also, by the way, why Rafa hates Golden Frag, is my understanding. So I think that is maybe reasonable, but overall, I still like Golden Frag despite that one possible like stalemate type of situation.
So I like. So I proposed an idea a while ago. It is a bit confusing for newcomers, but so let's say it takes 8 minutes to reach the golden frag. The other person has 8 minutes to like make it back, and so it's like a variable amount. So as much time as it takes to hit golden frag, your opponent has that much time to make it back. So there's still like a hard counter, but it's not just like a hard 5 minutes.
I don't know if I like that, because that's still like drag. Like if a duel takes like 10 minutes, you then get like
I think
a 20-minute
that's reasonable
duel.
if you bump down the initial time limit. The initial time limit right now is 12 minutes. If you made
Yeah.
it 10,
Well, I've always thought it should be 10.
If you made that 10 with the same decreasing 30 seconds per kill or whatever,
exactly.
and then you did the
so if it's a
doubling thing,
blowout, like you're gonna end it in 5 minutes. They have 5 minutes to bring it back. They
Well,
can run and hide.
hold on. I think that's like a totally. So I would disagree. If
Wait,
you're
are
gonna
you saying
have,
to do that on top of Golden Frag or to replace Golden
if
Frag?
you're gonna have,
to define the golden frag time limit should be as long as it took to hit golden frag initially.
The games can go on for what, like 16 minutes?
Well, so it would be a maximum, like the game is 10 minutes. It'd be a maximum of 20 minutes. They have 10 minutes to bring it back if it like there's a 1 frag difference at the 10-minute mark.
I think
It's like a long time.
Yeah, I'm not keen on 20 minutes. 20 minutes
even when-
duels are just.
No, it wouldn't inherently cause 20-minute duels.
But you're saying there would still be okay. Let's say you went for 10 minutes, then like it would still just be sudden death Golden Frag for both players, right? So it would 20 minutes is a fucking
Yes,
irrelevant
if you went to
thing.
10 minutes, it would still be sudden death.
So the worst case is it goes
Worst case,
19
it's
minutes.
exactly.
19 minutes because one guy is up by 1 after 9.5 minutes, and then you double it, and the hard time limit is now 19 minutes. Is what
How
you're
about
saying.
this? How about you simplify it and just put 10 minutes time limit? That's it. That's all you get. Because it sounds like
because
the same thing.
because the end of duels is fucking boring as shit because one person just runs
Hang
and
on
hides.
about that. Speaking of boring, one thing I really hated about the Golden Flag, even as like a spectator, was to watch, both players being Golden Frag. It's like, they tied the score up, or like, one guy made the comeback, and it's like they have this like, last fight where both of them like, basically trade each other off, right? They have a fight that's like really even, and then they both lose, but it's whoever dies first wins the game, and I find that extremely unsatisfying to watch. Where it's
I literally don't see that issue at all. Like, I don't know.
Yeah,
if you could
I
point out
just-
some examples, that would.
No,
help,
but it's basically like, both players are neck and neck in skill, and like.
That's an interesting idea. The
Wait,
Golden
wait,
Frag.
I mean, that's hype, right? Like one person.
That isn't
fucking
hype though,
hits
because
the
like
rail to
it's
win
like
or some
I'm rooting
shit.
for this one player, but I watch him, try to take a good fight, and he just barely makes it out just by dying first by like barely a millisecond, which is like
Wait, what situation are you talking? Are you talking about double Golden Frag sudden death scenarios or what? I don't understand.
I'm talking about double Golden Frag, a double Golden Frag
Alright,
scenario,
so the player you're
but like the
rooting for
players
dies
trade.
first. The player that you're rooting
They
for
trade
dies
at the
first.
same time. It's like
You can both die in a double Golden
Yeah,
Frag.
no,
and the game
nobody
continues.
knows what you're talking about. We're not putting the Quake World shotgun in, okay? Move along.
No,
No,
I've had double Golden Frag where
No,
you
but I'm
both
not.
die and the game just keeps going on. It
We're,
just counts as
we're
a
moving on.
Yeah, moving
No, I thought
on.
the game
I
just
just
ended.
this was
Didn't
this
the
was
game
just a
just ended
this was
and it
just
was
a
like the player who
simple.
got
I can
the
find
first
the
frag?
clip for. I'll find the clip for you if you want. Shit. Nick.
No, I
Like,
don't want you to find the clip. Nobody cares. Just
Well,
just
no,
we're
I was
moving
watching
on.
a tournament with
We know
Ray,
we
and
know
it
you're
was
right.
they're both
God.
golden frag, and I
Jesus
saw Ray
Christ.
lost. I saw Ray lost just because he got fragged first, and even though like his
Oh my
rocket killed.
God,
Good
his
this
opponent.
lord,
is
dude, the body is starting to rot. We gotta keep moving.
Okay. All right, let's go. Move on.
Body is stinking.
I don't know how you guys aren't getting this.
Listen,
Lies are
listen.
getting
My
Well, I just don't think that's bad.
my-
What's fucking
my-
wrong with that? He should
alls
put the other guy
I
first,
wanted
like,
to
every
know.
game.
Alls I wanted to know was Ballin's opinion on the golden frag. That's it, because it was like his idea way
I think
before.
It's fine. I think it's fine.
I think I would
It just
for the
doesn't feel
most.
earned.
a hard time limit on top of it. I could see.
Yeah,
that
that would maybe be my only suggestion. Is from what I've seen, I feel like it works fine. But yeah, I think it could use a hard time limit just to kind of move things along. Especially like if you're on like a tight schedule, there's a lot of duels to play. It's just
See, the whole time limit thing though, that's kind of redundant. Like, just put a time limit on the game then. Why are you gonna have a time limit and then you're gonna have a time
Well,
limit
you
on?
can win faster.
Like, it's
Gold
too many,
exciting, bro. It's like
way too many
cooler
rules. It's
than
not
just
exciting.
having
Like,
a hard
everybody
time
remember
limit.
that QuakeCon, right? The Rafa Evil QuakeCon, the famous one, right? That was so
Yeah,
exciting.
that was
It
the
was
one I was gonna bring
the
up. I was gonna be
best-
like, queue up that game. That
the
was like
best,
26 minutes or some shit.
quote unquote duel ever played, or
How long was that
shit
game?
like that.
30 minutes?
it's
Game on I'm talking about specifically. I'm talking about the game on Sinister. That game.
Oh, I was thinking of the Elder game.
I was thinking the Elder one.
The
was
Elder game was trash.
yeah.
Nobody wants to see that. But
Yeah, no one wants
the
to.
Sinister game,
the last
it was
minute kill
exciting
with
as it
1 second
was
left.
because of the time limit, not because of a golden
I-
frag. It was because of the time limit. That's what made it so great.
Yeah. I think that's a reasonable argument for sure.
But then the counters, that's a rare occurrence.
I would just say that type getting a last minute tying frag is pretty rare, and it doesn't to me balance out the like other 95% of the time where somebody is literally just like running and hiding for 1 to 2 minutes, which is super.
I don't think it was like 95% of the time. I played a lot of duels, Ballin. You know that, and you did too. And
Well, okay. There's a good number of duels where it's just a total blowout. So not counting those, but like of the close competitive duels that you play, it's like the guy in the lead eventually just gives up control, runs and hides, and runs the clock out. Which, and yes, there is like a metagame to it. It's risky. Like sometimes that person does fuck up, give up the lead, and lose. But I'm just saying it's just boring. Like if I have to watch somebody hide at the bottom teleporter on ZTN, and then they fucking go through as soon as you come near, then they run into the fucking plasma room, and then like whichever way you come from, they take one of the 3 exits and they run in a big ass fucking circle just to like kill time of the last 1 to 2 minutes of the fucking map again. Like I don't know. I mean that shit is just awful.
well, chances are those players are pretty good defensively, right? Like, it's not going to be some noob. And a lot of the time, what happens in that situation, even if it's a good player, and they understand what's happening now at that point in the game, what'll happen is they'll kind of like this. Not saying this is like the right thing to do. It happens like inadvertently, but they end up giving full control to the other player. So then that other player kind of is super aggressive at that point, and it's more exciting to me. It's much more exciting.
well,
And then they
I
have
just
to play really good defensively to just get out of that situation.
I just think
That's exactly what happened with the Evil Rafa thing.
Well, I just think having every single game end with like someone getting a kill is worth the couple times that somebody having to get a last second kill. Like someone getting last second kill is awesome, but it's very rare versus somebody getting like, oh, I got this kill for the fucking win in the game happens every single game with golden frag, and just to me that trade off is just worth it if you ask me.
Okay, so hold on. We're starting to get off topic. This is turning into the wipeout discussion again.
I mean, I remember the term I was trying to use. It's mutual frag. I don't like watching games end in a mutual frag.
Okay, that's wonderful, shouldn't it? I think I think we could all agree that like, well, except for I guess Ray, but I think most people enjoy the golden frag. I think it's like I personally think it's an interesting thing. I'm glad that they added it. It does have some downsides. It could have used some tweaking, but I think that sort of like you could say that about Duel overall. Somebody in chat asked like what they could do to current day Duel to make it better, and I think the answer is nothing. I think the DB's done. Like it's.
Oh well, I was gonna say fix the armor system, maps, and netcode.
Well,
like,
yeah. I mean,
Even the green aura.
I don't
That
think
fits.
they're.
I don't like the green aura.
Get rid of the
Green
green
aura
aura.
is
I
a
think
shitty
I
good
would
for
rather
that.
have Ballin's like timing suggestion than the green aura.
No.
Yeah, I
You don't
would.
even
We're
understand
not getting into Ballins. I'm not letting that happen. I'm not letting that
No,
happen. I'm gonna start muting people if we start bringing that up.
Remember that
Green
bug
aura-
that they left in the game for a long time?
Okay, just
The green
talk
aura,
about
I
talk about the
understand.
hold on. Talk about the green aura, and then we'll segue into whatever Ballin wants to segue into.
All right, the green aura is definitely promotes like the item diving shit a lot, and it gives people times back a lot.
Times that they wouldn't
I-
even know. Like they could be
Yeah,
on
and
the opposite side of the map, and all of a sudden they see like,
Yeah,
oh,
yeah,
Mega's
and-
gonna spawn.
But the one thing I will say about it is it fucking helps the new players a lot. Like
Even
Yeah,
not the new players.
mean,
again,
well,
it's,
it helps.
it is a textbook example of quote unquote noobifying the game. But like I'm just saying, if everything else about the game were amazing, I would be okay with it. Like to like
The
throw
sound
the noobs
cue is like
involved.
just as egregious. I mean,
It helps a
probably have
lot
to
of
get
like
rid of
the,
that too.
Quake Live
the
has a
middle
sound
tier
cue
players
when
too.
items. Quake Live has a sound cue when items spawn, right? I mean,
Well,
but,
not 3 seconds before though.
Not
I'm
3
talking about like
seconds
the 3
before,
second warning or whatever.
Like I feel like a lot of like mid tier Quake Live players benefited from the green aura a lot because all of a sudden they have like times given to them. So it
to the
just
second.
yeah, just kind of aim and yeah, I don't know.
well,
I'm not
one thing,
a
I
fan.
mean, yeah, yes.
I prefer
I
the
agree.
idea of like showing like sure do the math for them, but then they have to like keep it in their head for the next 35 or 25 seconds. And
But yeah, especially when you account for like the lack of knockback or whatever, so people can just easily just fall on items like at the precise second.
yeah,
Yeah,
I don't know. I prefer the giving them the time if they picked it up, doing the math, and they have to keep it in their head.
I'm just saying I do think it helps the new players a lot, which is what it was intended to do. But yes, I mean you know, I ideally I would not have it, but if everything else was awesome, I'm like okay, I can live with this one noobification. That's So anyway, I just don't get it twisted. I'm against the green aura.
Make it customizable, and
Yeah.
then it's
What?
not an issue. Like make it so you can make a
Like a
pickup.
custom, yeah. You mean
Yeah,
like
like,
have it
have it
be
on.
like
Maybe
a
also
custom
the green aura
variable.
would be better if it were like 1 second instead of like 3 whole seconds before. If it were like 1 second, you could probably
Yeah, like
be a
if you
little more
spec
okay.
people, like they'll spawn, grab a weapon, they'll like glance around, and if they see the green aura, they're like, oh, like I should
Have
stick
it
around.
on for quick play and like have it off for like standard
Yeah.
comp.
That type of shit is then it's like really hard to transition. But anyway, I don't know. I don't want to go into a whole thing about the green aura. I don't like it, but I understand what they were going for, and I think they succeeded in what they were going for with noobifying that shit a
Yeah.
little bit.
Well, I always
Remember
thought
that bug?
there should be like a elo limit, so like under like out like
I just think that makes
arbitrary numbers. Like,
makes it
well,
weird.
since it's
That
for
just makes it weird.
noobs, yeah, but
It's
at least it
that's
helps
weird.
them.
That's kind of just shitty design to like have a.
I mean, they do
I
it
mean,
with
having
dash.
it as an option for
Like you can use
customs-
dash until you get hit.
Having it as an option for customs or something, I could maybe see it, but like, yeah, I don't know. Having it as like, oh, once I hit 1600 elo, then it goes away is also a little jarring for people to know. I was playing one game and now I'm playing a different game, but
I think it needs to either be there or not be there.
yeah.
I don't like having it like on or off.
I don't know. Like it seemed like that's like the point of Extinction was like Too Good being like, oh, we'll teach like new players how to play TDM.
No, that's too
Okay.
good. Just that was never the point of Extinction. The point of
That's how he
not
explained
to, okay. Well, the point of Extinction was they needed a third mode that so TDM was just too hard. They needed a third mode. I think he wanted something round based instead of just the 20-minute like brawl that TDM is. So we got Extinction. It was literally
To
something he
avoid
thought up in a
blowups,
day.
right?
It was
I'm just going off the dev stream, like he originally kind of.
no. I'm going off of what
okay.
I saw in the dev Discord. I understand
Yeah, no,
what he said.
I trust you because I wasn't in the dev Discord.
It wasn't.
That's how he explained it, and so it's
Yeah,
like, oh,
no, it
like
wasn't-
a baby form of TDM.
Yeah,
Remember that
he
bug?
kind of, I guess, like wanted to do that because, like, again, they were testing TDM for like weeks, and then all of a sudden it was just like, oh yeah, we're doing Extinction now. I was like, wait, what? We don't have any maps for this.
Yeah.
Like, we're not like, what is this?
Yeah, the green aura timing shit is like in Quake Live when you were out of control and you didn't know the fucking time of anything. It's like you didn't know that you had that opportunity to just stand on the item on the other side of the fucking map, like because
Yeah.
you know that you just died in the other side. It's like you're like, oh shit, like you had to be like keeping track of their pickups to be like, oh shit, can I stand on this item that I just spawned on, or do I have to run? You know.
Agreed.
But again, that just made playing out of control like 10 times harder. That's why I'm always like, what the fuck? Like playing out of control in Diabotical is like people were talking about how it's so hard out of control. It's like it's so fucking easy in Diabotical.
No, yeah,
compared to
in Quake
Live.
you're like at certain spots just listening for the sound so you to get the time.
Yeah.
I mean, I think like all good duelers like know like roughly the order of every single item. It's just like a skill you need to get.
Well, yeah, but like the exact time, it's like, okay, well, I know that you like on Furious Heights. That's a good example of a map where it's like if you threw that map straight into Diabotical, because the red and mega are kind of far apart and there's choke points and shit. It's like you would just stand on the red. So many situations, right?
Yeah,
But
like
in Quake Live,
T7 is like a
you don't-
perfect Diabotical map.
you don't know in Quake Live. It's like you don't fucking know when that red was coming up unless you specifically were there to hear the pickup. Like, or if you were the one who picked up the last one, it's like you're like, oh shit, if I try to dive this too early, I'll just die, give them the red, and now I'm like totally fucked and out of the
We're
map.
kind of off in
Or
the weeds on this. With this.
Yeah,
This
yeah,
is,
we're
like
we're just
pretty
kind of
superficial stuff, kind of.
Yeah,
Last
this
thing I
is-
wanna
this
add,
is
though,
not like-
remember that bug when items wouldn't spawn to the exact millisecond and it would make Zorak really mad.
Yeah,
And
we
that bug wasn't
know,
there for
around
like
it.
forever.
I like.
Okay.
I do appreciate how Zorak, just fucking Captain Autism, was like the one who found it.
Speaking of Zorak getting really mad, do you remember like day one of Alpha? Like Zorak
Oh yeah,
mad
dude.
that you couldn't shoot the hands, like they weren't part of the
yeah.
hitbox.
You know what's
And then they never actually fixed that.
funny is like we all made
Wins
fun
hit,
of
like 60 rail, dude.
we all made fun of Zorak, but he was like right all along. Like having the arms not be a part of like the hitbox, I think, is a mistake.
Well, it's just fucking that Quake Champions pixel perfect hitbox shit all over again. It's like what I said back then is like nobody ever complains like, oh, my shot should have missed, but instead it hit. It's like if you just you want the hitboxes to always be fucking padded so that nobody ever gets the illusion of, oh, my shot went through them. But now
Yeah.
because it's like the arms aren't in it, it's like you shoot, you hit the fucking arm, and you're like, why the fuck didn't that hit? And then it's like we have to slow it down frame by frame to see, oh well, actually your rail went right through the arm, and then he was moving that direction, so the beam looks like it went through him. It's like no,
Yeah.
just like make it so that you never have a fucking through
Just
rail by just
Pad
padding
it out
hitboxes
just a
all
little
over.
bit. Yeah.
Not to mention like the netcode, so like what
You
I
see-
see on my screen isn't necessarily what is accurate, so it leads to like just
But do you see how many people go on Reddit and are complaining about through rails or whatever? And
Yeah.
it's like you slow it down and you can see if you understand where the hitbox really is, you can see why it was a miss. But it pisses them off enough to make a
Yeah.
goddamn Reddit thread making your game look shitty. It's like
yeah, like add a bunch of padding.
just
Like
dumb.
I don't
It's
care
dumb.
if like reduce the damage of the shaft. Like add a bunch of padding. No one's gonna
Well,
complain.
so hold on. So that's another thing is that I really don't like is that instead of like adjusting the models to like be better, because like one of the things is like I actually kind of really we made fun of him for it, but I actually agree. Like I really don't like the idea that the entire model isn't in the hitbox. I mean, it's one of the reasons like everyone uses Keel, right? Over like Tank Jr. or something. But like, fuck, what was I gonna say? Shit, I don't remember. Oh, yeah. Instead of like adjusting the fucking model, they like padded like the LG beam or whatever. You know what I mean? Like the actual like LG beam like got wider to compensate. It's just like no, that's like so fucking dumb and
I thought they
abstract.
reduced the model's width for LG.
No, like they
Like
made it.
Wins had a good game,
unpadded it.
so
They made it. It used to be like not padded at all. Then they went to like 0.5.
went to-
But
Yeah.
then Wins was hitting 50 LG, so then they like changed.
Wins
it
had a
back.
good
Yeah,
game.
when Wins had a good game, so they they decided to nerf it.
But the okay, but anyway, what was I saying? So going back to the original thing about Duel, one of the ways Duel should have been focused on more was fixing the goddamn maps. But I was always that was the one thing I was like, you know what, Diabotical has a map
Oh,
editor.
no.
Like, we're gonna
Here we
gonna
go.
get some good fucking maps. The community will just make maps, and that'll fix everything for Duel. Like,
How long did it take you to make the map that you're disassembling right now, Scored?
I know. I
Probably
thought
even
people were
having
joking,
duels a
but you
mistake.
really are just going around like disassembling it one by one.
They should have just had 2 modes, like 4v4 CTF and like a new
Okay,
Wipeout
hold
2.0
on.
type mode.
We'll
That's all it should have been.
we'll wrap back around to like some closing thoughts soon enough. Let's just
That
get
might
into
have been the
this.
secret.
Into maps.
Yeah, let's just get
Maps.
into this mess. Go ahead, Ballin.
Jabba's Palace.
Oh god, I wasn't gonna go there yet, but
Oh no,
like,
did you have something else
so-
first,
no,
or
I was gonna talk about just maps. It's like,
okay,
alright,
go
so we
ahead.
started
Maps,
out.
yeah.
The only person making maps, I guess, was Promius, and it was always like, alright, he's
I
working
think.
on a
Well,
lot
hold
of
on.
different-
I don't mean to cut you off. I think early on, City was doing stuff. I don't think he stuck around for very long though. He was like busy with school
Yeah.
or whatever. But anyway, whatever. Just go
Anyway,
ahead.
so and it's like, alright, he's doing a lot of shit. I understand why he doesn't have time to update these dual maps or whatever, all that much, but like, it's like, okay, the community will go and fix maps, and then it's like, what did we actually get? The game launches. There's no like, you can make maps, but you can't share them with anybody really. Like the content server didn't come till like a month later, and it's like, all right, well, we'll get some good maps on the content server, and they'll make it into the game or something, right? But it's like, oh no, we have to have like a map contest where we're gonna give thousands of dollars to like a couple of maps instead of just like trying to get a lot of people to make good maps. It's like we're gonna like make it where one map gets like 4,000 fucking dollars. I don't know.
Yeah,
It's
I just well. So hold on. We covered. You just covered a lot of stuff. I think we should back up. I think not having the map, like not being able to play custom maps at launch, was a fucking enormous mistake. Like the map editor is like a big feature in this game.
when
Like
all
being
the
able to like
casuals
yeah.
were in. Imagine if they could just like hop on and see whack-a-mole or some shit like that.
Yeah, there's a good few like fun custom maps now that I think people would really enjoy. But like not having that content server at launch, and to be honest, so like, and this is like something I don't really care about, but I know people were kind of upset about when the game moved over to the Epic Store instead of being on Steam. The only thing I worried about was that like how are they going to do maps, because the Epic Store didn't have like a workshop like Steam does. And I was like, I wonder if this is going to be a problem. And James is like, oh no, we'll have like a website or something. And sure enough, it was a fucking problem, and they didn't know what the fuck to do about it. And it took them fucking forever. You remember how like none of the maps in the fucking
Like,
contest were actually tested because there was no content server, and the only way to test them was through
The
like
content
jank server
server-
commands?
The content server came out like what, like 2 weeks before the map contest?
No,
submission
Ballin, it
deadline?
was like 2 days. It wasn't 2 weeks. It was literally like 2 or 3 days. I mean, you can go find the exact time. It was not 2 weeks though. It was such a small window. It was like, oh, well, I guess you have like 3 days to test your map now. Good luck, everybody.
Yeah,
Assuming you weren't doing like the jank like fucking command prompt or like the command thing, opening the ports and shit.
having a mapping contest, like, it kind of seems like a cool idea, but then it's like, yeah, when I think about it, it's just like, I don't know. I just think $500 you give to somebody who makes a map good enough to make it in the game, and like that's it. Like none of this. Oh, some guy gets to just get $4,000 for making a fucking like freeze tag map when nobody plays freeze tag. It's like,
Well,
right? Like,
that's another thing. Okay, oh, dude, there's so many things to dissect with this. Okay, so let's just
Yeah.
talk about that real fast. So, they created a mapping contest for like modes that weren't played. Like they're like, make CTF and TDM maps. What are you talking about? Your esports is all based around like 3v3 MacGuffin and Extinction. Like, why the fuck are you having people make TDM and CTF maps? Like, CTF has never been a thing. CTF was only a thing in the alpha for
Wait,
like for like
can we
3
also
weeks.
talk about? So I was reading like the Diabotical Discord, and Too Good was like, we had to get a lawyer, and it cost 10 grand just to draw up like contracts and rights for this mapping contest. So on top of all the prizes, they paid $10,000 to a lawyer so they can like legally own the maps.
Something tells me like that's a bit excessive. I don't know. Like, I'm no lawyer, so I guess I shouldn't comment. But I don't feel like it.
I have no idea if it's excessive, but like on top of all the prizes, they
Remember
also
when they
paid
said
10 grand for a lawyer.
that you
They
would be
got booted by the
obligated?
lawyer.
Scorch, remember when
what?
they said that you would be obligated
Oh yeah,
to go to
in
events?
in the rules there was like, dude, the rules were so weird and specific. Like, I actually wonder like how much of that was just like Fat Palm being a dumbass, because it was like, yeah, you would be obligated to like come to like some event in person if you had won. It's like, what? Like, why is that even in there? Like, why would that even be relevant? Yeah,
Like-
looted by the lawyer. The lawyers
I mean,
got 10
I don't
grand
know,
from
it's like,
TP.
when you look at what are people actually
Put them
playing,
on esports earnings.
Add Too Good to the scam list.
people are playing fucking Wipeout, right? Like, and they didn't put that in the mapping contest or whatever. And
Yeah.
then the mapping contest was like, TDM, freeze, like it was all like TDM, freeze tag, and fucking CTF shit. That no MacGuffin maps made it to the. I guess a couple MacGuffin maps made it, but they didn't get top 5 or whatever.
Yeah, well, the thing is, like,
Also-
MacGuffin wasn't even, like, a stated, like, thing that you should be working on. It was literally, like, if you go read the announcement, which I think is still available, it was literally just... somebody posted in chat, the final submission date was November 15th, the community content server patch was November 12th. So, yeah, 3 days to test your map. Good luck.
Well, unless you were in the private testing group where you
Or you're
Yeah.
using,
might
like,
or
the...
might not be getting feedback directly from the judges. Like,
Your
hold
feedback
on, we'll go into that in a minute. We'll go
Well,
into
that's-
everything.
that's
Let's
the
just
problem with
let's
the
That was
mapping
so
debacle
good.
is I don't even know where to start. Like,
yeah.
there's
There's
so
hold
much
on.
shit.
Let's
Back up for a
let's
second.
yeah
Let me
go
back up for a second.
yeah go ahead.
Also, I'm just gonna say this, like, sorry to fucking Crazy Al and whoever, but it's like, dude, $5,000 for time trials maps? Like, are people downloading this game and buying a battle pass so they can go play fucking time trials? Like, I know you crazy defrag players were gonna make maps anyway. Do we need to spend money on fucking race maps? Like, did that really need to happen? Like,
Ben
feel
won,
like-
right?
I feel like Too Good getting all this money from
defrag
Epic
has infinite
Games.
content. Go ahead.
Too Good getting all the money from Epic Games was like Jeb from the Beverly Hillbillies finding oil in it. He just like suddenly had all this money and didn't know what the fuck to do with it.
Wow, that's a good analogy.
Yeah. That's
I
that's
just-
pretty good. Yeah, the $30,000 is like so excessive, but hold on, it's like back to what I was saying earlier. Is like I think it's really funny that like they just it was like everyone's playing Wipeout, everyone's playing MacGuffin for the tournaments, everyone's playing Extinction for the tournaments, and Wipeout also for the tournaments. But it's like we're not going to make any maps for those modes. We're making CTF, we're making TDM and Duel, and I guess time trials, whatever. Nobody cares about that. And then, like, even better is, like, they remove all those modes from the rank queue and put in, like, 2v2 TDM, which also has no maps, because nobody made any fucking maps for it.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I'm just saying it's like for example, in the mapping contest, second place was Nunu Star's CTF map that will, like, nobody is playing CTF in this fucking game. Like, it's just weird, right? Like, it was a cool map, like, I mean, I'm saying it's fine to give it second place, but like that map got $4,000. Like, who's playing that map? Nobody plays CTF. CTF is like not.
Nobody, dude. Fucking Too Good got scammed very hard
like,
on those
if they just did-
maps.
If they just did $500, and these maps aren't even in the game yet because they need more polish or whatever. It's like just.
I
that's what
think
I'm saying.
Nunu Star maps were, like, fine. I'm not sure what the fuck those
Yeah,
maps
well, I
they
don't know. I'm
used.
just saying they have not made it officially into the like official build
Yeah.
of the game or anything yet. And all I'm saying with all these maps is like, I don't know. None of these maps were worth thousands and thousands of dollars, and it definitely wasn't worth like having this contest where one guy gets $1,000 more than the fucking next guy for having a slightly better map.
Yeah, no. Like, the way this was all conducted was a absolute catastrophe.
It's kind of like a meme, but it's like Too Good, like paying out all of his friends in like esports, like through
But-
contests and.
These aren't even like his friends though. These are just like random like people in the community. Like except for like, well, okay, let me back up. Nunu Star. So here's where things get even weirder. If you like really want to like break it down, Nunu Star, myself, and like Grumux have had access to the map editor for like so much longer than other people. Like, you want to talk about like a fucking fixed contest? Like, a lot of the people who won have had access to the editor for like maybe years before other people did, and have been working on these maps for a long time. Too Good had like explicitly stated multiple times that like if you were in like the closed like dev builds or whatever, that you could just like work on a map for the contest in the future. Which, like, I don't know. That just seems really fucked to me. Like in retrospect, I mean, I was guilty of it too. Like I've been working on my map on and off for a long time. And like you got to think of like somebody who just like got the editor or like started playing the game had like 3 months to like work on their map or whatever from like the announcement of the contest to like the final like submission date or whatever.
Yeah. So
Dishonorable.
yeah, I don't know. It's like people make maps for free. Like maybe just giving a little bit of an incentive of like a few $100 if your map makes it in the game would be cool. But
Yeah,
like, I don't know. The contest just seems like I don't know. Like in retrospect, I just don't like the idea.
yeah, like there's no reason to have this huge mapping contest. It also just like it discourages more
But it
maps
was, like,
from
and it was
being.
weirdly.
And yep, more money went to the mapping contest than like the duel tournaments, which also seems like kind of weird.
I mean, I understand like the reasoning because like it's actual like work. Like people get paid to like sit there and fucking like
No, I know, but
make maps as like a
like
job.
Ballin said though, when they're maps that
But yeah.
aren't even in the game, like CTF.
Yeah. Well,
like,
I
Freeze
was.
tag
Well,
that.
I
They
was.
had a different plan for this year. They changed. Like
Dude, they're
I think
always
their plan
changing. They
was
always
to
have a different
TDM
plan
and
though.
CTF at one point.
They always.
Zorak will probably flip
yeah.
out if we mention the fact that the mapping contest had 4 times the amount of money as the 2 duel tournaments.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I think keep that information from him.
Oh my god, dude.
And the maps aren't even in game.
People supported us during testing to get paid. I don't know. It's. Dude, I still haven't gotten I wasn't paid for either of the maps that I worked on. And then I got scammed in the mapping contest. I got scammed really hard in DB, dude. I got robbed. I'm never trusting Too Good again. That dude's a fucking bitch. But yeah, no, there's so many like issues, and then yeah, like the whole like the idea that you're gonna do this huge contest, like when you could just pay people like $500 a map, because like no map is worth $4,000. Only in hindsight is a map worth like Aerowalk. I know you don't like Aerowalk, but it's like a classic map or whatever, right? Or like use DM6.
Yeah, or CTN,
CTN, DM6, Aerowalk.
Yeah.
You know, like those are like
But that's all like in
classic.
retrospect.
Yeah, but like only in hindsight, when you look back and see like the popularity of these maps, is that map worth a lot of money? Never like a new map isn't worth that much money because it's like Overgrowth might be played for like okay, let's just hypothetical. Overgrowth gets into the game like tomorrow, and maybe it's like played for like a little while, but then people are just like, this map actually kind of sucks. Like once more people really start to like grind it and shit, it's like you don't really know how a map's going to like perform until it's out in the wild, until it's in tournaments, and people actually have to like really break it down. Like I know Ballin found some interesting things in Overgrowth that I won't.
Yeah,
I won't.
Can we segue into the
I won't speak
testing stuff?
Oh, okay. Hold on. Let me just finish this up. But yeah, like Ballin found some interesting things on Overgrowth that I don't know if anyone else has found. And it's just like, could you imagine like that map going into a tournament with those things? It's just.
What did he find?
I'll tell you later. I mean, it's Ballin. Do you want to tell him, or do you want to?
Are you talking about where you can just kind of disappear from view, kind of?
No, that's you're thinking of
a different map.
You're thinking of a different map where you could like run into the wall.
Yeah, minus points for polish, dude.
Minus points for polish.
Well, anyway, like I wish also. I know this is going back to another thing, but for Duel, if they like just did goddamn weekly cups, like we could have tried so many more maps. We could have like tested them all out. We could have like people would have been playing a lot of different shit. All those people that JDB plays Duel with would have kept on playing Duel in some like weekly tournaments for, for some pennies or whatever. Like, but
yeah,
okay, no, we're just gonna blow our load with 2 Duel. But again, those Duel tournaments, the prize pool for the biggest Duel tournament in Diabotical was the same as the Time Trials mapping contest prize pool.
That's great.
For all like 12 people that play
don't tell
Time
Zorak
Trials.
that. Zorak will flip his fucking.
I'm gonna tell him.
That's a pretty good idea.
How many people do you think play Time Trial? Like a dozen?
Well, the thing about time trials is like those people will make maps. Like they'll just
Oh,
make
yeah,
maps, and they have
definitely.
defrag. They can just go play defrag where they have like infinite content. Like, and then meanwhile you have certain people who are just complaining constantly in certain discords about how there haven't been more time trials patches. It's just like I don't know. Like time trials, it's done. It's there. Like it's fine. I mean, I don't know how much time they spent adding it into the game, but it's like all right, it's cool, but it's like what more does it really need? I don't understand. Why does time trials need focus? Like
Yeah,
throw it in there as a bone to those defrag players and like
A
and that's it.
$5,000 time
Yeah,
trial
$5,000.
contest.
Is
$5,000.
anybody going and buying the battle pass and downloading the game to just sit on a time trial server by themselves playing time trials? I mean, maybe they are. Maybe I just don't know. But like, I just it's like.
That's where all the action is, dude.
Yeah,
I mean,
it's time to
can
be a
go play
time trial player.
Like you already have defrag with 8 bajillion maps, and then you have people who are gonna make time trials maps anyway, just because they are that into the race mode or whatever. It's like, I don't know. Did we need to like put a bunch of investment into it? It's like I don't know. When there's like multiplayer modes where you need other people in the fucking games to have fun that are like suffering, you know?
Yeah, well, we kind of
Yeah,
got off
suffering's
track
a
of
good word
the
for it.
map
Alright,
stuff.
so we
but
going
yeah,
back to the
but
map
somebody
contest?
suggested in chat or was saying that like there's another game out there that exists that like it pays the mappers based on like how many people actually like play the map, like how popular it is. I think that's pretty smart too. One thing I guess I'll say against that though is like with that method, it's sort of like it makes experimentation difficult, right? Like you're just gonna want to like make a map. Assuming you're like mapping for like money, you're just gonna like want to make a map that like kind of fits the mold, right? You're not gonna like make like an interesting weird map like Amberfall was, because people might not play it then. TF2 does something that I really like, where like you can buy like a little cosmetic in the shop, or it's called like a map stamp. It's like 50 cents or something, or $1. I think the mapper and Valve split the money.
I'm honestly low-key happy that season 2 got canceled because I was not looking forward to playing fucking Amberfall and Raya with the implosion, and
Oh man.
I did
that's
not want to
crazy.
play
Let's
that.
let's
I saw that as
That
3
is
new
cool.
maps.
Let's-
I like Raya.
Do we-
I mean, Raya was fine. I just didn't like the implosion, but Amberfall was just crazy. I did not like
yeah, well, the
Amberfall.
implosion is really janky. Yeah, not a fan of Amberfall so far, really.
Let's talk about the
Implosion is janky
testing.
for sure.
Do we want to go?
Oh,
So
the
I mean, we
testing?
talked about like because I've already touched on like the idea that a lot of the mappers already had access to the editor, and it was very like kind of one-sided, where it's like certain people just were like mapping way in advance. But yeah, let's talk about the testing and everything that went wrong there.
Oh, we talking about how there was like a big playtest group.
Oh yeah. Let's dive
About
into
like
that.
40 pros, 40 pro players playing the maps.
40
right?
pro players testing it 40 times a day. Fat Palm personally tested every map himself 40 times. All right.
Yeah, that's what I heard.
And then like all the maps that made top 10 were
Yeah,
from
like
those playtest sessions.
except for like one or two. Yeah, like every single map was like one that like Fat Palm was very heavily involved in the creation. So something. Okay, so something that I was told before the mapping contest, talking with somebody on the dev team who I won't name, but I think it should be pretty obvious who I'm talking about. I was told that so at that point I wasn't in the Java's Palace. I was just like making my map, and I figured, well, I'll just join like a day before the contest. But I had heard from him that like Java himself was like already helping people with their map and like giving feedback even though they shouldn't, and that the whole goal of the mapping contest was just to find good maps, and that there was no guarantee that they would have used like the winners or whatever. So I guess it really was like rigged from the start, because you had like Fat Palm with his fingers in like multiple maps, making multiple changes.
Yeah, well, and just the entire first round of judging.
Oh
was-
god, yeah, that's another thing. The first round of fucking judging in the mapping contest. So this is why the only reason I knew, like, I don't get along with Fat Palm. He's a stupid fucking retard piece of shit, and we all know that. He's a dumbass. The thing is that I assumed that there would be other judges, because if you look at the sheet, there's like a whole list of judges. It's like Prometheus and Too Good, and like I figure we'll like, well, if all these other people are looking at my map, I don't care if Fat Palm is like biased against it, right? But the first round of judging was literally just Fat Palm and his like little boy toy Salacious Crumb, looking at like 100 maps, and they did it in 7 hours. So they gave like each map that was entered in the contest like 4 minutes at max. And like
You think your map got 4 minutes?
No, dude, my map wasn't even looked at.
Yeah, so just like the fact that any like person off the street can do the math and because he like publicly said it, he's like, "Wow, what a day! 100 maps in 7 hours or whatever." It's like, okay, that's 4 minutes a map, and
Not
even
even
if
8 hours. Not even a full work day.
Even a full work day.
yeah, and even if we're being generous and being like, okay, let's just say half of the maps either like were either just total trash or like weren't up to the
Like
specifications
remakes
of the content.
or whatever, yeah.
Yeah, so you can like throw those out immediately, and let's say you only have to look at 50 maps. That's still like 8 minutes a map, which is not enough to play one single duel.
Or
And he,
like a team match, yeah. Sorry, continue.
yeah, and it's just like they didn't have to do it in one day. They had like I think 4 days like before the next stage of the contest officially began. Like there was no reason to just blitz through it like that, but they did, and then the ones that made it through were the very ones that they had already been looking at and playtesting forever. So, I mean, I don't know what went on, obviously, but it just seems like the other
Like,
maps, like even given the time of day.
I
Yeah,
mean,
the weird thing was there like you have 4 days to like look at all these maps, and like the first day is like we went through them all 7 hours. Like it's a contest
it's
for
just weird.
thousands of dollars.
For
Like,
thousands,
take it
like
seriously.
a lot of money.
I even tell people that, even if like that's what you did.
Yeah, like just if you're gonna be a lazy fuck, then just go ahead.
Yeah, but also it's just like, there's definitely like a psychological factor where like if you have played a map a bunch of times and we're giving feedback and stuff to the mappers, it's like that one is just going to be judged more favorably than one that you have never seen before because it's like where everything is. Like when you just hop around a map for the first time, it's it takes some time to figure out where are all the rooms. How do I get a feel for this map? Like, oh, this is how this is going to work. Oh, here's how the route is between the red armor and the blue armor, like all that. And it's like if you already know all that because you've been like looking at this map for months or whatever, it's like you're just going to have a different opinion, of the map, right? Like you're probably going to have a much more positive opinion because you know it. You're not lost. It's like just purely from a fairness perspective, I just it just doesn't seem right.
There's no way he played like any games on any of these maps, or whoever was like with him, I guess, never played any games on any of these maps in the first stage, which just seems incredibly silly. Because talking to City after the submission date or whatever, he was like, "Yeah, the first stage of this contest should really just be 90% gameplay because there's like another month." Something interesting that was pointed out by the guy who made City's map with him, like his mapping partner or whatever, was that every map that was like made it top 10 was basically finished in terms of like art, which kind of wraps back around to like what you were saying earlier about like these maps not having enough polish. Like all the maps that were kind of submitted were basically like done. I mean, they could use like a map could always use more polish, but it's like in terms of art, like none of them were like unfinished. I feel like it almost goes to like the point of like he didn't actually play any of these maps. He probably just selected ones that he had been testing for months and then just grabbed a few that looked done.
Not to mention, like, how a dual map plays is like, it's up to good duelers, like people that are high level. Like,
oh yeah, now we gotta get into this.
Yeah. Well,
Here
it
we
was
go.
it was a good segue. I feel like you can be a good mapper, but it's up to duelers to determine how good a map is.
Most of these, so that's the thing though, chat guys. Like most of these maps were like pretty polished, like all the top 10. Like there was a few that looked rough, like I think that like Frost Rush or whatever, but like Raya and stuff, like I think looked pretty good. Like I don't know how much more polish you want on these maps. And compared, like none of them were like half-arted maps, I guess is my point. The idea of having 2 stages of a mapping contest is you first look for maps with like really good gameplay. Like you have people come in who like understand duel and understand team modes, and you have them play the map, and you say like, oh hey, this map plays pretty well, it's doing some interesting things. I think this map should go to the next stage, and then at the next stage you have you have another month to art your map, and you can get a lot done in a month if you're like really working on your map.
To me, it's just like having a contest and all this money is just like it's just such a mistake. It just people are pissed off. You have people in the mapping Discord asking, "Oh, why didn't mine make it?" You have people who made the top 10 then being like, "Let me see all the judging scores," and they're like, "Oh no, we're not going to release that." Like people are mad about the whole situation because they got less money than someone else, or someone's like, "Oh, that person's map is shit," or whatever, and it's like if the pipeline were just like, okay, you make a map, you put it on the content server, then you can submit it to like the developers or whatever, whoever it is, or somebody who's appointed to look at the maps. That person looks at the maps and then says, "Oh, hey, okay, yeah, let's put this in the game," and then it goes in the game, and then you get paid something, and it's just like a flat fee. It's like, would any of this? Would there have been any drama? Like, would anything have happened? But no, it's like because we had a contest for a bunch of money. I just think having a contest was a fucking mistake.
Yeah, no, having a contest was a huge mistake,
Yeah,
especially when
because
you have it
there-
ran
there's
by like
also
an
the
idiot.
factor of, like there was so much money on the line that like the other mappers like weren't sharing their maps with each other and like bouncing feedback off each other because there's so much money on the line. Like they don't want to give their
Yeah,
ideas away or whatever.
there was a thing thrown out about people playing other people's maps and purposefully giving bad feedback so that their map would place worse in the contest.
Oh, shit.
Like,
Yeah.
Like that
Yeah.
idea was thrown about. I mean, again,
Well, if Fat Palm was
if
the
it
only one
happened,
who
I
was
wasn't-
mentioning that stuff, I don't know if
Yeah,
it really happened.
I don't know if it happened or not, but like the fact that you have to even talk about shit like
Yeah,
that.
yeah, just the fact that that's a plausible, like it makes logical sense. Like you can understand it. Is I don't know. Because like what happens is all the feedback just gets filtered through this one guy and his lackey because
Yeah.
nobody else will know. It's
Yeah,
what
like,
good situation.
it's like a catastrophe. Like that really was like the fucking iceberg of, I don't know. What a mess.
Yeah, like I feel like a lot of this other stuff with Diabotical, like we have pretty strong opinions, but at the end of the day, it is basically it's just an opinion. But the mapping contest, I feel like pretty objectively was like a mess, like a whole debacle.
Oh no, I 100% agree. Like having like rushing through the first stage of the contest, giving people feedback when it's like explicitly in the rules that the judges shouldn't be giving feedback outside of like that initial like round of like top 10 picks or whatever. Not having the content server up for people to actually test their maps. Just I don't know, like it's
The removal of playtesters.
yeah, so we haven't even we keep avoiding that one. So yeah, the removal of playtesters. Do you want to talk about that, Ballin? Do you want me to?
I brought it up. We weren't avoiding it. I had a good
Well,
segue into it.
I know, and then Ballin went off on something else. Maybe it wasn't Ballin. Maybe it was me. But...
So yeah, Ray, why didn't you playtest maps, dude?
Yeah, right.
I was because I was
just-
going to enter the contest.
Should have
That's
just play tested the maps, Ray.
I have it on good authority that only like 3 or 4 people can play Diabotical Duel, and Ray's not one of them.
Dude, remember when they were begging for people to play these maps, but nobody would play them.
Okay,
and
let
give feedback?
Ballin explain
Yeah,
what
well,
happened.
I think Ballin probably should.
Yeah. By the way, I don't have any beef or anything with FaZe, but when he was like, "Oh, all the pro players, they're not playtesting the maps and all that shit," it's just like, people just have other shit to do besides play every dumbass unfinished map, and then you have to have a tough conversation where you're just like, yeah, I don't like this, and this about your map, and then you get told that your feedback is shit or whatever. Like, it's like, I don't know. It's like you wonder why like people don't want to play test maps, but I mean, yeah, I don't know. I thought I was gonna try to play test some maps, but I got kicked out of the play test group. I don't really know why. I don't know what else there is to say about that, but I do know of the existence of that playtest group now, and yeah.
Zorak got kicked out too, right?
Yeah, I wish
Yeah.
Zorak was here. So maybe let me back up a little bit and provide like some better context. Zorak had offered to be a judge in the mapping contest because if you look at the list, there's like really no like duelers on there. It's like Too Good, Prometheus, like Mangly, some like art people, some mappers, dumbass Fat Palm and Salacious are on there for whatever reason. Salacious really shouldn't be on there. I don't know why. He's like a subpar artist. It's like Fat Palm, I guess I could understand, whatever. And so he goes to like fucking Fat Palm, and then Fat Palm, like, instead of making him a judge, makes him like a tester. Gives him like a tester role or whatever, and gives him access to like whatever secret channel the testers were in. And then sometime after, I know you joined up as well to that. And there was like a whole bunch of like maps in there that they were giving feedback on, or something like that.
Yeah. There were a bunch of there were just like a bunch of maps that people were submitting, and I mean, I don't know if we ever did any of them. I think like it was just one of those situations where I think maybe Zorak and I were both like busy because there was a tournament coming up, and then we also, I mean, we both have fucking jobs and shit, so like, you know, we were playing maps that were going to be in the actual tournament pool
Yeah.
in our only free time or whatever.
But is it safe to say that you both were giving feedback?
Or potentially, if asked, well, like, were you? Like, you weren't asked though at any point. You were in the.
Not really. I mean,
yeah, but
just one day I was in that thing, and then one day I rolled into that Discord and was like, "Oh, I'm not in this anymore. Don't know what happened."
So you both were moved pretty abruptly, you would say, right?
Yeah, I mean, I still don't know why, or if there was like a reason, or was it just, oh, you never said anything, so we were.
Were you?
I guess.
Were you noticed that you were being removed, or were you just like not in the Discord one day?
It was just not. Yeah, just like suddenly that channel, you couldn't see it anymore. Just one day. I don't know.
Shut up, Jewel Bars.
Okay, so what happened with whenever you were told you give shit feedback? Well, what happened with that whole thing?
What happened with that? Okay, I mean, I was just on a random pub, and I was like playing somebody in a duel. It was on Overgrowth actually, and the map maker, Specky or whatever, was he was like in the server, just like watching me play duel. You know, I've only played this map maybe like 5-6 times or something, right? So anyway, I mean, I played the map, and then afterwards he's like asking me about the map and stuff, and then I'm just like giving some ideas based on playing it like 5-6 times or whatever, and then like, you know, it's like whatever. I mean, I have my ideas, my opinions, whatever, and but then yeah, I guess he was like Discord streaming to a bunch of people in the mapping Discord, and so like, and then Napalm just like joins the server.
Well, hold on. I'm sorry. Who joined the server? Who joined the server?
I mean, sorry, Fat Palm. He joined.
Oh, okay. I know who that is.
But anyway, so he
I was a
like,
little confused.
So he comes on the server and like is like running around for a little bit, and also, I mean, there are a couple things that I was saying that the mapper guy disagreed with. But he was like a Specky, I think, or he was like, you know, he just said like, oh well, we, you know, you really don't want that. We tried that, and it was like too easy to rail that angle, or you know, or some shit like that. I was like, all right, whatever. Like, okay, you tried the thing that I suggested. You didn't like it, fine. Like, but then I just get told, oh, like your feedback is shit, and then he just like disconnects. Fucking yeah, I don't know.
Wow.
Like, I mean, I don't know. It didn't make me want to give more feedback. Like, I mean,
dude, the duelers.
And the best part is, it was literally something. It was something that they said that had been tried, and it's like, okay, if it was a good enough idea to try it, then like, why are you telling me my feedback is shit? I just thought that was a little bit bizarre, but I mean, you know, I don't know. I don't like. I mean, you can like disagree with it. I mean, I'm just like giving my kind of general. It was the take on the teleporter on Overgrowth, where like there's by LG, there's like a teleporter that brings you right next to red, and I was just kind of like, well, I think that this teleporter is going to be like the source of a lot of like fights that maybe feel a little bit random, because this teleporter is such a good way to get to red, And I was like, okay, maybe if like this window, and there's like a little tiny baby window that you can't even see through. It's like, okay, if this were opened up where you could rail through it or something, then you'll know that the person's coming through the teleporter. You can damage them before they get through the teleporter. It'll make it feel a little less random. And I guess Specky or whatever told me, oh, we tried that, but it was Rail City. You definitely don't want that. I was like, okay, well, I don't know. I wasn't there, so I can't like comment on your take on what happened there, but fine. If you tried it and didn't like it, I mean, look, it's your map. It's not my map. I'm just giving some ideas on how I think it'll play out, and I'm not trying to make the map for you, but but anyway, I guess this was enough to be determined that my feedback is like shit. So I don't know. But anyway, that's the whole story.
It's just super unprofessional. Like, I don't know. Like, do you remember
So-
when, like the incident? So this is kind of a left turn, but do you remember the incident on Discord when he was like slinging shit with the guy asking questions about GDPR?
Yeah, yeah.
Oh man, I remember that.
I don't know. Yeah, I just think if you're running everything, you should be, if you're like the face of an aspect of the game, like the public face of it, it's like you should just try to be like a little more professional and nice to people, and not just be like calling people idiots and stuff, or like.
Are we talking about Mojo? Like
No,
already?
we're talking about dumbass Fat Palm.
Yeah, well,
it's a good segue.
Well, hold on. One more thing I want to talk about. Did anyone else find it weird in the fucking mapping Discord that he had like a fake like bot in there, like the Mappy bot? Do you remember that shit?
I don't even. What is the deal with that? Can you
Okay,
explain? 'Cause I didn't
here's
understand
my
that.
understanding of what Mappy is. Is like you sent a map to Mappy, and it's just Fat Palm on like another account, and then he gets the map, and then he gives you like feedback like as Mappy.
It's not a bot.
No, Mappy's not a bot. It's
How do you know that?
It's Fat Palm because he's said multiple times that it's not a bot. Because people keep thinking it's like a bot. I mean, it might be like technically a bot, but like it's just him running it. Like,
So he has another Discord account named Mappy, and it's just him.
yeah, it's just him.
What is the point of that?
I don't know. He's a fucking weirdo. He's like an idiot. Like I don't like. What do you like? This is like a QC. Oh my god, dude, he's so dumb. Like I don't like. I have no idea what the point of that was. And he would, it's like role playing, and he would like give people fucking feedback through Mappy or whatever. Like so, like somebody would like send their map to like a Mappy, like a DM, and then you would get like feedback. And I think that was like how people were supposed to get feedback for like the mapping contest before the content server. Yeah, I don't know. Fucking Fat Palm's
bypass the rules.
Fat
He was
Palm's
bypassing his own rules.
I guess. I don't know. Like that. Yeah, that's even weirder because it's like, okay, you're gonna enter in the contest, but you're getting like all these help from the judges or like from a judge through like this bot, and he's like pretending to not be him. Like it's just fucking bizarre. How weird is that? Like everything about that, I don't know. I'm going in circles now, but yeah, Fat Palm's a dumbass. The mapping contest was an absolute catastrophe. Yeah, I don't know.
Late. It's getting late for me. Is there anything else that you might want to add in?
I mean,
Me, or
closing
just
thoughts,
general?
Vigilante. Do you have anything to add?
Yeah,
in?
do you have any closing thoughts?
Would you like to give a Latin prayer like Zorak did?
I don't speak Spanish. No. First off, I thought the game engine's good. Like the way it was made, I guess, and everything about it was just good. I didn't like practicing 3v3 scrims the last 6 months of when everybody was into it, and I guess it sucks that it's going away. At least, what else is there to play now? QC duels? I don't know. I'm a bit too tired. I mean, it's definitely is better than QC in terms of how performance is. Really, that's all I can really say.
I mean, yeah, I think in general everyone can kind of agree that the engine was perhaps like the best part of this game. You know, the tech behind it is pretty solid. Like moving around and shooting
Well,
stuff still
netcode.
feels
The netcode.
netcode's an
one
issue,
engine problem, but yeah,
but that can be fixed.
feels-
They could work on it.
yeah. Like,
Gotta give some credit to Firefrog.
yeah, it makes the whole game feel really slippery though because of the way it's like. I think it's the netcode. I mean, it could be other things too, but like, just knockback and stuff doesn't. It feels like very like slippery. I think it's a combination of netcode and other things, but yeah. But yeah, the rest of the engine seems all right, and they have been improving it as well. I mean, the one thing that has always been a little frustrating to me with all these engines is like they'll talk about how it's like such a nice engine or whatever, but like even with all the settings on low, you have people that still aren't like getting that good of frames per second. I mean, obviously it's not a problem for me now because I have a new computer, but on my old computer, it's not like I got amazing frames in the game, even with everything turned all the way down.
What did you do with your GPU
Me?
before this? Yeah.
What do you? Are you?
Let's not talk about that.
Yeah,
That's a
just
different story.
I don't know.
Oh,
I heard
yeah,
you
he
used your GPU for
use
some type of
use
mining and
crypto
stuff, so-
mining.
Oh
Yeah.
well, but okay, but at the time I played a game Quake Live that is completely like CPU bound, so it's not
Yeah.
really
Okay. Let's
relevant,
not
but-
get into Ballin's thing. So yeah,
I
those
mean,
are.
look, no fucking dude. There's other people. Zorak, right? He had a GPU that got bad frames. Like,
Yeah,
I'm
we
just saying-
know. There's some tech issues,
I'm just saying,
but I
like,
think
the
on
game
the whole,
the game engine is decent, but it's not like, oh my god, this is like amazing. I can like get really good frames on any setup. Like I can run this thing on a potato and it's still like really good. I will say, the one thing that I do really actually like about the game is I think the maps are arted very nicely. Like I think the maps all look good.
yeah,
except
Well, I mean, there's a
Bushido looks
couple
like
that
shit.
don't.
All right.
but
Just
closing off.
Prometheus does good work, I think. Was that it, Vidge? Did you have any other closing thoughts on DB as we send off the game here?
I thought
think he
Duel was fun. Like
Duel
playing
was
duels
fun.
in-
Okay.
Yeah, it's the only like saving grace at this point. The fact that 3v3 is canceled just makes it just I'm sure everybody else agrees that like Duel is like the only standing game mode.
Duel is really shit.
I think Duel is decent. It's like it's
Yeah.
fun.
It's nowhere
It's
near as good as
okay.
QL. It's like
Cody,
It's okay.
yeah.
Cody, you just never recovered from slow weebling yourself.
No, he
Oh,
just
yeah.
wow.
he
This
just
has
has,
nothing to do with me. I don't know. It's just not a good product.
he
Like
just hasn't-
everything I liked about
Yeah.
QL Duel isn't really there.
Just not a good
Diabotical.
product.
Yeah.
You remember
He's just-
like how motivated I was to like start dueling? I was like, I'm gonna get good at this game.
I remember that.
I remember that, dude.
It was just like I don't know.
Would you say it's not a good product?
if the game was only Duel, it's
Oh,
like,
the
alright,
Void
it'd be decent.
Cannon.
There's a lot of people that started playing Duel and are having fun. I mean, I don't know. Duel is always it's decent.
I mean, when you're
There are
I don't
things
know.
that I
Just
would
to
change.
not hold up Vigilante. Always a pleasure, Vigilante.
Always
Always a pleasure.
Always a pleasure.
Good night.
I don't know when you're
Um,
bad. Like I don't know. There's so much like in Duel that like makes it good and fun. Like when you're mid level, but I don't know.
I think that I would have. I don't know if I want to say it's a bad product. Like I don't have enough dual experience. Like I don't know. I think that if I hadn't played so much Quake Live, I probably would have
mean-
liked it.
All right, Cody too. What are you saying is bad about Duel? Like, is it the netcode? Is it stuff with the engine? Is it the armor system?
So I
Is it
think
the
the
green
engine
aura?
is
Like,
yeah. Well, there's obviously a lot of things. The engine is fine. I'm still like sitting out on how I feel about Dash because the knockback is so delayed. Like, I don't think it's fair to like make a judgment on like Dash as a whole. Like, it might be fine if the netcode in knockback was fine. The green aura is really, I don't know. like I said earlier, your like timing idea is better than the green aura.
Well, I don't disagree with that.
I'm
Because
sort of
green
realistic.
aura.
Let's not
We've
go
already
back to the
talked
green
about all
aura.
this.
Yeah, no,
We-
we
we've
already
already talked
we already
about all
covered the
this.
green. Yeah, we're just
Yeah.
running in circles. Just
The last
No,
thing, like,
and
yeah. Well, no.
the last thing is honestly the maps. Like, if there were good maps,
Duel is neglected. We know.
dude,
well, I've got there was a dual
No.
mapping contest.
yeah, there
Yeah,
was a
no,
mapping
dude.
contest recently, dude. Any day now.
this it doesn't have to do with like dual being neglected, but just the current dual maps are really bad because they're basically built so you can't control them, like all items, just the
but,
routes and
yeah,
stuff.
but have you realized that game would be boring if you could Pac-Man all the items?
Yeah,
Did
well,
you realize that?
So I think that's honestly like if I had to sum it up in like the one thing I would want changed. Yeah, that would be it. Like I think
the armor system.
no, no, just not being able to control all items. Just because the routes are so long, the armor system's annoying, but maybe you could work around it when there's yellows and stuff, like a yellow and a blue instead of two blues.
My personal biggest problem was the maps, and
That's why I just said
the maps in the contest didn't make it better.
I quit
the game, so
I quit. I haven't tried any of the maps in the contest. I played Bushido.
You're not missing much.
Twice. Yeah.
Thanks, appreciate that, bud.
Yep.
Dude, I'll remake that map for you in QLs. You just keep playing it. Dude, no, it'll be great. You'll already have experience on it.
Yeah, the 2 times I've played it.
yeah, it's I don't know. Like, I mean, I think it's decent. Like, there's definitely problems, but it's playable. Is how I would put it. I don't know.
What
Yeah.
map?
Like, I
No,
would
just
to
duel.
me the netcode is like a bigger
Yeah.
problem.
There are problems, but
than
I feel like
Aura, or like
yeah, so
system
I
is pretty
feel like
bad.
I could work around them if knockback was fixed and the maps were better. Like
We're just repeating like old territory here.
Yeah, I think we're kind of
Right.
just
Well,
we've
it's just
covered
like,
the mapping
where is the line
contest.
between
Just say goodbye.
where's the line
Hold on.
between
We
decent
need
and
to
terrible. You know.
we need to kind of wrap up our thoughts here, closing statements. We're all kind of just like running in circles. We've covered the mapping contest. We've covered duel. We covered like 3v3. We talked about like some of the early alpha stuff.
Oh, okay. One
We
last thing.
talked about
Okay,
white
Okay,
go
cloud.
ahead.
to start wrapping things up, is the fucking like timing of patches and announcements with respect to tournaments. You literally have the fucking game being patched like 2 days before a tournament, or like literally the morning of a tournament, which caused a crash or like caused everybody to be unable to fucking play the game. You have like the servers getting like fucked up. You have memory leaks like happening on the day of a
It made me
tournament.
freeze.
Like, yeah, you have a fucking Chicago server that is like constantly freezing and is fucked up. Like, it's just, I'm just saying, like, how do you like just chill? Only do cosmetic shit during the tournament. Like just keep it like, you know, why are we getting crazy ass patches to the game?
so
Day of
the
tournament?
big
And why are you getting an announcement that esports is getting canceled like the day of a tournament? It just pisses everybody off. Like, do you have anybody considering the PR of it? Announce it on a Monday. Announce it after the tournaments are over. But why 1 hour before the tournament?
they literally don't. They have no idea what's going on in North America. Like I genuinely don't think Too Good knew there was a tournament. And same with the patches and stuff. Like it's all like EU.
Yeah, I don't want to like get into like another big topic, but I think that there's definitely like a disconnect where like Too Good just doesn't know what the fuck is happening sometimes. Like he just like maybe he's off working on like his TF2 game, which by the way that's like one of the 2 new games coming. There's already a prototype for it, or there was back in like September. Like a TF2 class-based shooter game that's 100% coming. The other one's probably a survival game, but yeah, maybe he's like working on that, but like he just doesn't seem to like pay attention to Diabotical. Like I feel like there was like a turning point a year ago or so where he just like kind of started distancing himself from the game. I don't know if anyone else got that feeling, but
The updates were like less, I feel, and very short. And I noticed like at first, like he had his camera on, right, and then like the camera wasn't on anymore.
Oh yeah,
and
they need the camera.
He wouldn't show his face anymore.
Dude, he can't. Like, do you imagine like how bad he looks now? Like, do you remember the last time Too Good was on camera? This is a little bit off topic, but like Too Good was like rubbing his eyes and he was like graying. He looked like shit. Like it was a bad look for him.
Anyway, it's just like I don't know. Do you like? Oh, one other thing that I should mention, just I guess Prof is still here, is they apparently completely killed this shit in season 2 with the update that Wipeout or whatever is no longer a queue and now is a like you sit on an empty server waiting for people to join Wipeout, which nobody wants to actually do. So
Why did
Dude,
they take it off? Right?
it sounds like QO. Why don't we just all go back to QO if they're gonna have us do that? Like,
yeah. So anyway, that apparently pissed off a bunch of the casual Wipeout players. It's just one of those things like where I don't know. It just seems like nothing is like really getting listened to
It's
when it comes to
falling
that.
apart.
Like, or there's like a disconnect between what they're doing and like what's happening with the community. Like, like I said, what better way to kill hype for the last tournament than to announce like, oh yeah, esports is like is done after this, like 1 hour before it. Like, I don't know.
Yeah, I actually have something else I want to bring up. Speaking of issues with tournaments, I want to put Mojo on blast real quick. Like, I don't have as much beef with him as I really don't have beef with him at all, but I do think he handled the dual tournaments especially pretty poorly in terms of the seeding. Like, he would seed the top 8 and not seed the rest of it basically at all. Which is
Sid,
like,
#1.
yeah, well, that's like whatever. I mean, I understand that you're not going to get the seeds like totally
Like, you can
perfect,
just go
especially in
pull
the first tournament
skill
of the brand new game.
ratings.
Yeah,
Yeah, like,
Skill
or-
ratings out of the database. Like,
you literally have
seeding
a ranked
literally
ladder.
doesn't matter when it's a double bracket. It doesn't matter.
Yeah. I have the quote pulled up. I have a screenshot. He said, "I can't be bothered to go look up everyone's rating. It's not single elim, so seeds don't matter too much."
I
And it's
mean,
like,
yeah, the ratings do the job for
Yeah.
him.
yeah, it's okay. You literally have ratings in game, and you can seed like you can seed the like top 8, top 16 based on your knowledge of the players. But like obviously you're not going to know every player. So what you can do is go look at the ranked ladder in the game and seed based on that. It would take like 20 minutes maximum. And he said he quote couldn't be bothered to do it. It's like
Not to
like
mention,
not
it's like
literally your
his.
job?
It is like he gets paid for this. Like literally, it's your job. Like look up
yeah.
100
So
players.
I think just to echo what I said yesterday is like when Mojo was brought on as like the esports guy or whatever, I didn't have like an opinion of him. I didn't know who the fuck he was aside from like being a QC retard. But yeah, I can firmly say now he is a dumbass. I don't think
Well-
he's qualified for this job. Like as the guy who I guess was just like updating the like Wikipedia articles for QC or whatever the fuck he was doing. Like I don't know if that like made
He
him
doesn't
qualified.
initially come from QC though. That's
Where does he
what
come
I was
from?
gonna say. He comes from Quake 3. He actually, I think he used to be a competitive
Yeah, he's
dueler
some
in Quake
Q3
3.
boomer.
Oh,
Are
he's
you
another
sure about
fucking boomer,
Yeah,
dude.
I'm pretty sure about
Jesus
that.
Back up,
Christ.
back up. Are you guys sure about that? I think that's a different Mojo.
He
I
played
think
Shoot
that's-
Mania. He
Oh,
That's
that's
he mentioned the other day he played Shoot
named
Mania.
Mojo. There's another boomer named Mojo. I'm pretty sure. I'm pretty sure that's 2 different Mojos.
Okay. I mean
This
that might
Mojo
make-
said he
I don't
competed in Shoot Mania, which take that as you will.
Someone in chat is saying it's the same Mojo.
Okay, I could be wrong. I absolutely could be wrong, but I thought there's one that's like CK Mojo, who I guess played with fucking Fatality or whatever in like 2000
So,
Clan
yeah,
Capital,
it's
and
the
I
same
thought
guy.
that's a different Mojo.
It's the
And there's
same guy.
CK John.
Yeah, chat is confirming.
No,
No,
chat's
chat
saying
is
the
saying
opposite,
CK
you
Mojo.
idiot.
Oh,
not
okay. Well,
the
yeah,
correct-
now they're saying okay.
Raid doesn't even know how to read.
those lessons, dude. EKP's
Yeah.
not here to offer them
Like-
anymore.
When
Chat
you've been
list
hired
conflicted.
as esports manager, you should take the time to like seed the tournament based on the in-game ranked ladder, not say that you can't be bothered to do it. It's like even if you genuinely don't think it matters much, like if nothing else, just for the sake of appearances, so you don't have a bunch of pissed off players, like, just seed the fucking thing. It'll take 20 minutes.
And I understand, like, there were a lot of other things where people were giving him shit, or like, for example, Too Good announcing the esports thing the day of this tournament. Like, it, a lot of people were pissed off and were giving Mojo shit when he had nothing to do with that, really, or well, like he didn't have anything directly to do with Too Good making that announcement, right? But it's just like, dude, it's your job. Like, why are you just getting pissed off and like yelling at people in Discord and Reddit? It's like,
Oh, he
just
cracked.
relax, man.
Yeah,
Like,
he had a Reddit
like,
meltdown.
yeah, like, I don't know, just like a little bit of understanding of PR. Like, don't like, hey, just make everything worse by getting angry at everyone. I don't know. Like I said, I don't have like a beef with him. I don't think he's like a bad guy. Just like, you just gotta calm down, man. Like,
Yeah, that's how I feel. That's why I
take it
didn't
in
want to
stride.
trash him too much, because like I do. I mean, he does deserve a little shit. I feel like he got more than he did deserve, but he handled it extremely poorly.
So anyway, we going back to all right. So now we've caught up to today, right? We've gone through
Yeah, pretty
everything.
much.
Did we miss
The
any
abridged
big
version.
events along the way?
Trying to think.
Should we talk about good times? Should we mention what's everyone's like favorite time in?
Yeah, did
in
anyone
DB?
have like
Sure.
any positive things to
Yeah,
say about
let's go
DB?
through good stuff for a little bit, and then we'll
Honestly, I wasn't there for alpha. The beta testing weekends, super hype. Client-side netcode.
That
That was a good time.
I didn't
for
play
me.
DB at all. I played like once with Jewel Bars. We sent wins back to France. That felt pretty good, I guess.
What about making your map? Did you have fun?
No, I got scammed balling. You fucking.
Is it just like every memory of the map is now tainted by the scam? Like, you
Well,
never had fun watching us play the map, talking
no.
about it.
I mean, yeah, that was great, but it was like, I don't know. It was. I didn't have
It's
to
like-
like spend the time doing it that fast. I could have just
It's like
like.
if your girlfriend cheated on you and now you can't like view even a happy memory with her anymore because it's all
Well,
tainted.
no, I mean, like, it was nice, like, playing it, like, seeing people play it and whatnot and getting feedback, but it was, like, all for the purpose of, like, the contest. Like, if not for the contest, like, I could have just, like, used that time elsewhere and just kind of slowly worked
Yeah,
on the map
okay.
still.
My favorite moment was playing in the first tournament and seeing Zorak like so arrogant like he usually is, and then knocking him down and being the only player to be able to beat him in tournament play. Yeah, and I wish I had more chances because I definitely could have knocked him out of the entire tournament. And him kicking his girlfriend out of the house. For me, that was probably the best.
Oh, that was pretty good. That was pretty good. Yeah, I don't know. For personal moments, for me, I guess I had fun with that one tournament. The dash bracket that I won against Davis for like $90 was cool, and then playing in the early betas with Vibration, carrying him all the way to High Warlord in some 2v2 until we, despite getting fucked by wins and his 150 ping like a million times on client side netcode. So those were good times.
Yeah, that was back when I was actually kind of a gamer, though. Like, you didn't carry me as hard as you would, like, even today. Like that wasn't even that long ago, but I was definitely playing a lot better. I just completely, like, it's like I was a gamer, I was playing Quake Live all the time, I really enjoyed it, and then it's like I hated Diabotical so much that I just soured on, like, gaming entirely.
Yeah, like a real loveless situation.
Scorch, what was your favorite moment?
You know, I mean, like I said, I didn't really play the game at all. I guess, like, seeing it die was pretty nice. Like, just the implosion the last week, I think, was really good. Like, just watching the game, like, burn, because there was honestly a moment there when I was, like, committing to the whole, like, Diabotical lifeboat thing, where I was like, man, what if James, like, turns it around? I'm gonna look like a fucking donkey. But no, he just, like, his game blew up, so, you know. So, I was in the right there. That felt pretty good. I like seeing Zorak fucking slap that idiot Namco. That felt pretty good too.
That was pretty good, not gonna lie.
Like the fucking Namco just coming on to the podcast and talking all that shit and then just getting fucking manhandled. Like manhandled in the tournament. 5-0. Like, didn't even take a map off Zorak.
Not even one map.
Not even one map. He got his shit pushed in. Very embarrassing for him.
Yeah.
So,
My experience.
Go ahead. Yeah,
Oh,
shit.
oh yeah,
I'll
go ahead.
next. My experience in DB was pretty mediocre. I mean, like, I'll start with the mediocre. It was just, mediocre playing Wipeout. I'd say, like, my good time playing the game was when I hit Architect and Duel. I was, like, slapping all these Vindicators that were, like, all aim, no brain. So that was pretty satisfying.
Let me just bring
And
up
then
a
I
good-
guess
Go
I
ahead.
guess it was last thing I'll say though. Like one moment that came out of DB that I enjoyed was the whole meme about Zorak making 6 figures while people are looking at rail angles. Even though that meme kind of died out, I think that one was still pretty good.
I think I like the Hot Pocket one better.
This Hot Pocket. I was gonna say I do have one good memory playing AIM Arena with Shitnip. There's a clip of this where he was getting baited so fucking hard. It was absolutely great. Like it was on the old bazaar where I just hit up on the top ring and let the other people just double team him for the whole fucking round. Man, that was good times. Anyway,
I know the clip you're talking about. I think that's the hardest bait I've ever seen.
Cody,
I
did
think,
you?
yeah, I think I've seen that clip.
I don't think Camping Troll could have baited that hard.
all right, and then last but not least, we got to go to Prof. Did you have some good times in Diabotical playing Wipeout with?
Yeah, it's been a pretty good run, I guess. Maybe not with the Wipeout. I should have played more like Duel probably, but like my computer froze up a bunch, so it's kind of actually a bad experience for a while. But got a new computer, turned it around. It's a beautiful game. It's like it looks really good.
Yeah,
It's
we didn't really touch on it, but yeah, I think the art style they went with was like really smart, like kind of cartoony and
Zorak joined first and more Latin, I think.
a little bit of detail, but like not too much detail. What's up, Zorak?
And our favorite memories from Diabotical.
Oh yeah, dude.
I didn't even share my favorite memory yet. Hold on, Zorak. I just want to say I'm very proud of my accomplishment of spamming the Jewel Bar's copy pasta so much that it became a bot command in Diabotical Twitch chat. It's probably my best accomplishment in this game.
Pretty good. Pretty good. Zorak, how about you?
I'd say my 2 favorite moments were fucking knocking Griffin out of the map with the fucking hammer, being the last one alive. That one was pretty good. And then beating up Namco 5.
Yeah, that was.
That's my favorite.
Smacking Namco around was pretty good.
Yeah, that really surprised me. I didn't think you were gonna win that. I don't probably.
I thought he was going to win. I did not think it was going to be 5-0.
Honestly, I've never rooted for Zorak that hard, and when it happened, I was just like, this is like the peak. This is the best it'll ever be right here, Diabotical, and it was.
All downhill from there.
Yeah, well, I gotta go to bed.
All right, always a pleasure, Zorak.
Pleasure.
So any
Always a pleasure.
Closing statements here from anybody? Just like on Diabotical as a whole.
Right. So here's my closing statement on why I think it failed. The biggest thing was project management from James. I blame James for the whole thing because he never had a vision for his game. He never had a structure. He had like no project management at all going through it. And I think a lot of the problems stem and are all connected to that one thing, basically. He didn't know whether he was going to make a copy of Quake Live or whether he was going to make a brand new game all of itself, like make a brand new whole game. That's why I think it failed.
Did Cody give his
the biggest
best
reason?
moment?
Said playing the March beta was when he was for the game.
That and when I slow weebled myself, time to slow down. Gotta take a moment.
Yeah, everything slowed down after that, right?
Yeah, it was a huge turning point in my life, I think. Looking back. Not one of my favorites, but definitely a significant moment.
Yeah, when did you move from Cody 2 to Cody 3? That was the start of the real like downhill.
Let's not get into that. The fucking
yeah,
Diabot.
we're getting off topic.
Yeah, we'll
Wondering
talk
if that
about
was
that. We'll
I
have
was
it.
just wondering if that was the slow Weeble, you know?
No, the slow.
No,
I
we're
was
getting
Cody
off.
1.
We're getting
Yeah,
off.
we're
The
getting off
story
topic.
was
All right,
Cody
all right,
2,
all right, all
but
right.
just-
This is a conversation for another day.
yeah,
Yeah.
we'll talk about this another time. Closing thoughts. Anyone else here? Ballin,
No, just
Federation?
bury it.
Ray. Okay, Ray is just says bury it. Ballin, do you have anything
Yeah.
to say?
Yeah, I mean, it's there was definitely some potential, but it's just kind of like, one too many missteps. It's like a bunch of the things that were wrong. It's like if that were the only thing wrong, maybe we could have gotten through it. But it's like, it was more like it's like a person who it's like not only are they overweight, but they're also smoking, or something like that. It's like, just one too many health problems really took them down. It's like, the ship maybe hit a couple icebergs along the way.
Yeah, I think one of the icebergs was actually 4-dimensional as well.
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean,
Yeah,
I
I'm
kind of
about ready to
go
put on my
ahead.
scuba gear. I was just saying I'm gonna put on my scuba gear. Jesus, I'm so tired. I'm gonna swim on out of this ship. I'm not looking back.
Yeah, I mean, we're all on the lifeboat together, sailing to
We'll see you all in Crab Champions.
Yeah,
I
GL and
guess
CC.
I guess like I would echo what Shitnip said. I think it was just poor management. I know I said that we like shouldn't just point the finger at Too Good and like call it a day, but it really is why this game like was kind
Well,
of shit.
Someone actually pointed this out on Reddit. They said kind of Too Good's like style with the updates kind of led to sort of over promising and under delivering. Like if he had in some of the updates been like maybe like he would talk about 10 million ideas for the game, but
Yeah,
then like they couldn't follow through on a lot of them, and maybe he should have been a little bit more
Well,
like
no, because he kept
measured.
changing his mind, and he couldn't make up his
Yeah.
mind on
Yeah, so I don't
picking
know.
one thing.
I don't know if this is actually the case. Like maybe more thought went into the game than I feel like it did, but I swear to God, some of these changes, it seems like Too Good was lying in bed at 3 in the morning, and he had an idea, and then he woke up the next morning and told Firefrog, and they put it in the game.
yeah. It's a lot of like just snap decisions like that. I also think like listening to the community a little too much on certain things and maybe not enough in other areas. Like, I mean, the community is the reason supposedly why egg bots are in the game instead of just like the normal robots or whatever.
I think maybe it's like don't listen to community suggestions, but do listen to people saying the game feels like slippery, the netcode feels off, shit like that.
I will say,
You should listen to community suggestions, but at the same time, you have to like filter those, right? It's just like when Twitch chat's like, yeah, egg bots seem silly. It's like you don't make your whole game based around those or whatever. It's just like you don't make your games based around like a Twitch chat meme. It's just not a good idea.
speaking of bad community feedback, there's an interesting statistic that I've been tracking in Discord. In the Alpha Discord, Ease 12,000 is closing in. He has sent almost as many messages as Raven.
Wait, I'm sorry, what?
Ease 12,000. Hang on, let me look it up.
Dude, what the?
He has
Oh my
sent
god.
5,405 messages in that Discord.
Yeah,
Raven
5,000?
I wonder like how much that Discord influenced James to stop
Ease
listening
is
to the
only
community.
Ease is only 500 short of Raven, which is insane because you consider like Raven must have been in there for like years before
Yeah,
Ease was.
yeah. He's also like the main like helper guy. Like he's always like helping people with shit constantly. Like that's like literally his job is like community manager or whatever.
Yeah, it's just
That's
popping off Discord like all day, every day.
No wonder they abandoned that Discord and had to go to another one because like so many. Dude, I was really surprised. We kind of brushed over this, but I was really actually surprised he let like so many idiots in, like in that alpha or whatever. Just let like the floodgates open and just like all those people in there just like playing Wipeout pickups 24/7 like their life depended on it. You remember
Yeah,
that?
there was like at least 100 people got in the
Spamming
span.
North America.
Oh.
or whatever.
One thing
Yeah.
I will say about the good studio is I think Raven is doing a good job.
Yeah,
So-
Raven's a good
Yeah.
lad. I like Raven. I mean, Prometheus
Yeah.
too. I like Prometheus. I think he's a nice guy.
Firefrog
do really like
also
Raven.
like,
Firefall. So okay. So just because we're gonna name off everybody, I think it should be said that like,
Firefrog is like underappreciated. Like, as like Ballin knows, like a software engineer to like make an entire engine by himself, like
that's
dude's
difficult.
like a
and he'd
dude's a
be
freaking
like
genius.
in Reddit helping random people.
Yeah,
with,
and
like,
he-
issues
yeah,
and shit.
he'll write like a 10-paragraph essay like responding to someone. Like he's like prolific, just in coding, and I don't know.
I just wish he would spend like a month working on netcode, but yeah.
For as
I,
much. No, go ahead.
I was just saying,
Okay.
like he's very impressive. I think personally.
I wouldn't say
sure.
like I feel like often, you know, because it was mentioned in one of the streams. Like I don't think anyone here hates James or like wants him to like purposely fail.
No.
Like no one here has like any sort of vendetta against him. I just think he makes dumb decisions and he like mismanaged his project horribly. I think that's like where the real frustration stems from. Like no one here actively is like
Yeah, like so one of the problems, I should have said this earlier, like one of the memes I did earlier was like spamming that picture of the two Johns. Like we're expecting a quality of game that like, you know, a sequel to a game that was made by like geniuses that have put out a bunch of games before that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but
And this is like
but-
the first, pretty
I
much
will
the first
say-
game of the studio. Right?
well,
yeah,
And for what it is, it's amazing. Like it's amazing that they like Firefrog did it.
okay, yeah, well no one's debating the technical
Yeah.
aspects of it. It's always
yeah,
just like the mechanical ones. Like how does the game
but that's
play?
the thing with Diabotical, right? Is like it is close to being like good. It's like it can't get over that last little hump to like
Yeah,
really be
to
excellent.
be what people
But
want.
there, but
It's just like I said, it's stuck in that like permanent limbo where, and this kind of goes back
it's
to
like
James.
it's the uncanny valley or whatever.
Yeah, exactly. Like James is in like this perpetual like loop of like, not perpetual loop, but he's stuck in this position of like he needs to just, you know, I mean he's not going to do it at this point, but you know, pretend Diabotical was their only project. He would need to really sit down and decide what the fuck he wanted to do with the game.
Yeah,
Does he want
right.
to do QL or does he want to do something new? Like what? Like how does he want the
Yeah,
game to
'cause
play?
Basically, everyone here played a bunch of Quake, and it's or you know specifically Quake Live the most, and it's like everyone just thinks it's like very scuffed Quake Live.
Yeah.
But like, you know, and it's like if you did something completely new, like maybe the Team Fortress game will be like new enough to be cool or something, but that's fine. But like, yeah, I mean.
Yeah.
Was hoping for something that's like equal gameplay to Quake Live, but like with modern features. If that's what you were hoping for, then you're disappointed because it's like scuffed.
Yeah, exactly. It's right now the game is just scuffed Quake Live because Too Good just like doesn't know what to do with it, and he's just like he doesn't seem to like. I don't feel like, and that was like
They're in
a
a
big,
weird like middle ground. So
yeah.
they don't want to make a QL clone, and they also want to bring in new features, and so they did both, and like the result is that like people on either end of the spectrum, like
Yeah, nobody's happy. Like they tried
Yeah.
to
they
please
wanted
everybody.
they want it to feel like
which is
QL,
why,
but
like-
they don't want it to be QL.
The fact that
Yeah.
a bunch of people are still playing Quake Live, fucking Madhouse, Clan Arena, yeah, like.
Yeah,
every
that's
single
maybe a
night,
bad
just, like,
example. Those people will just
Well-
they'll be there till the day they die.
Well, I
like,
just mean like you should have tried to get like you could have gotten those people right, like. playing your game instead. It's literally free, you know.
Yeah, I do agree. Like the fact that you can't get people to play a free
did.
game.
But
I don't
a
know.
lot of them just don't have the computer to even play this game. Probably.
I don't think
They
I don't
should-
think that was I don't think the
Get the
technical
frames
like
that they
hurdle.
want.
I don't think the technical hurdle was like the big one. I think it was just like the game was kind of scuffed.
I'm not sure if it was like Ray, but like if they start from like a strong foundation, like basically copying Quake Live and then innovating from there, as far as like weapon balance and all that stuff.
I mean,
I think a lot more people would have been happy.
But
maybe. Well, the
some,
only
some people think that's what they did.
Yeah,
but it's
yeah,
like,
some
it's
people
not
that-
really
that's-
what they
No,
did.
the-
Like,
well,
too many things are off.
yeah, that's
Yeah.
where like a
that's
big
the
Well, we
problem.
all play Quake Live. Like we know that's not what happened.
Yeah, well, you asked
it's
like
not enough like Quake for us, and it's too much like Quake for the new people. So the end
Exactly.
result is everyone wants to play.
yeah.
Yeah, and speaking of balancing though, like that has to be done really subtly when you're saying that.
I think that really
Rebalancing
sucks. I
Quake
think honestly that's like the note to end on is like, yeah, whatever. I think it was Vibration. Whoever just said it was like, yeah, it's not enough like Quake Live for us and too much like Quake Live for everyone else. That's
Yeah,
like the
it's
perfect way
it's
for me to
that
put
it's
it.
that uncanny middle area where it doesn't know what it wants to be, and they need to, if they wanted to fix it, which they don't want to at this point because they clearly have moved on to another game. They would need to all sit down and be like, all right, what are we doing with this game, and like spend like a few hours or like a couple days or weeks maybe hammering out the details. But that's not going to happen because they've moved on to their TF2 game or whatever.
And this is why I'm
okay.
like not happy with it because they should have figured that out 5 years ago.
Yeah, that's another thing is like I think Too Good even mentioned that last night is like they never like fucked with gameplay for all those years. They just did like engine stuff or whatever.
I mean, it's understandable that they're doing engine, but I'm just saying like
No, I
They
agree.
needed a-
Like
yeah.
they should have figured out the gameplay a long time ago. What were you gonna say, Ball? Sorry.
So is anyone here gonna try whatever their next game is?
Well, looks okay. So their next game, let me just be clear again, is the TF2 game. The TF2 game already has a prototype. It was in a jank state, sort of, back in September. And what else? He sort of got the idea, I guess, talking from the TF2 players who were in that initial like alpha. So I know recently on one of the discords,
Like Clockwork and stuff.
yeah, Clockwork and Banny. I think that's where he got the idea because he seemed like really obsessed with it since then, and he's like been talking about it fucking constantly. It feels like he's always bringing it up, and I don't know like why he's trying to like be so coy about it now. It's like, dude, you've brought it up so many times. Like, I remember just hanging out in that Discord one day with a friend of mine. I was just like making a map, and like him and someone else were like playing aim arenas, and Too Good just pops into our channel and starts talking about like the TF2 thing. It's like what? Like, I don't know. Anyways, though, the timeline lines up pretty perfectly because he said it was been in pre-production for like 12 months, so you could expect that coming next. I'm not gonna play it though. Too Good fucking scammed me multiple times. I'm not trusting that bastard again. Learned my lesson.
Well, I hope it's good.
No,
Maybe
I hope
I'll
it
try.
burns to the ground.
I never even like competitive TF2 that much. I tried it for a bit.
Well, but this time maybe they'll do something different and won't just like make scuffed TF2.
I think it's gonna
I
be
think-
scuffed.
I
I think it's gonna be
You know what I
scuffed
think it's gonna
TF2
be?
ballin'.
I think it's gonna be
I
it's gonna
will
be like
probably
the scuffed.
install it,
It's gonna be a
right.
scuffed version of the early Overwatch and a scuffed version of TF2 combined. It's gonna be a mess.
No, don't even joke about that. You know, it's
We're gonna have like a cube bot that's like the tank or something.
Ray's gonna be throwing shurikens behind the coupon.
Oh, we should all play and just listen to Stitch this time.
Oh yeah, dude. We'll go. Well, I don't know. Yeah.
Where is Stitch, by the way? I thought he was joining us. I
No,
was excited.
he never confirmed it.
Is there gonna be strafe jumping in the Diabotical
Probably
TF2?
Probably
game?
not. There wasn't strafe jumping in TF2. It was like scouts could run fast, soldiers like rocket jumped all over the place, and demos like sticky jumped.
Just a bit of air control and that's it.
Yeah, there's no like strafing or bunny hopping or anything. But-
Yeah, by the way, did you guys notice I changed the name of the voice channel in here?
Oh, the funeral. That's pretty good. I like that.
Yeah. I know it's a while ago. I assumed it was scorched though.
No, dude, I didn't. I've been busy working on this map here. Has anyone
Yeah,
else seen this map?
Yeah, it looks good.
Looking at the tombstone.
Yeah.
What happened to the RAP thing?
Don't
It's
let
to the
there
left.
it
It's to the left.
Ah,
Yeah.
don't let Ray get too excited. He's referring to the Diabotical tombstone.
That's funny coming from you, Ballin.
Oh,
That's the ice cream.
That's a good point. The fucking ice
Yeah,
cream.
how many pallets
How
of
many
ice?
pints?
All right. We're gonna be
Pallets of ice cream.
pallets of ice
How
cream.
many gallons of ice cream do you have left?
Gallons. That's a
Oh,
good
dude,
way to put it.
I've got a ton left.
Did you
man.
know? Did you throw that ice cream away, Ballin?
Nah, dude, it stayed frozen while my power was out, dude.
So you
It's-
came
it's
home
fine.
and like actually felt it, and it was still frozen.
Yeah.
Okay, fair enough.
How long was your power out?
It's like a day, so.
So yeah, it was like a weird thing. So it was out in half my apartment for like 12 hours, and then it was out in the whole apartment for like another like 10 hours or so, something like.
All
like that.
right,
Maybe
let's.
Your ice
sorry,
cream
go
is still
ahead.
frozen.
Let's conclude this service. Thank you for all coming to the Diabotical funeral / what went wrong service.
you got a lot of viewers actually. I don't know if
Hopefully
you
we
noticed that.
no, I've noticed a couple people in the chat, but yeah,
No, you had over 30 viewers.
damn,
for
dude.
most-
It
God
peaked at like
bless.
38. Peaked at 38.
Oh, thank you for coming, everybody. To put rest to this. Yeah, F's in the chat, please.
Yeah, dude, everybody, please go in the chat and press F to
Press F to pay
F to pay your respects.
pay your respects to Diabotical. As we as we end
It's
here
mostly us.
and put this game to rest. You know, it took what was the phrase quote? Like 7 years still talking and his game's dead or whatever. Wait, let me go find the exact quote because I feel like it's a good one to end it on.
I don't think you can find it because
7 years dead. No, somebody vibration screenshotted it. 7
Okay.
years dead on release, still talking. Let's see the next game. That's a good thing. That's a good quote to end it on. You know, God bless everybody.
Yeah, always a pleasure, guys.
Bless. Always a pleasure.
Always a pleasure.
Always a pleasure.
Oh,
God,
It is.
God bless. Amen.
It is
Diabotical.
always a pleasure.
All right, night, guys.
Always a pleasure, guys.